Sup. We are very excited to start this virtual marathon that is going to travel all around the world, sharing dinners, sharing meals, really to start to raise the awareness about the connection between our food choices and the impact on the environment and everything that is connecting all the 17 SDGs that I have here in my back and our lifestyle. So I'm super excited to start this journey. We are, let's say, at the middle of our journey of the Food and Climate Shapers Bootcamp organized by the Future Food Institute and FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. And let's marathon. No, we are skiing in Europe, so we are based in Bologna, and on the other side, there are some of our fellows who started cooking for our dinner tonight, and then we are connected, I know, with Brussels, with Lake Como, and other places, and then we're going to start to reach out to someone based in Jakarta, someone based in India, and so on for the entire day until tonight. So I think we can start with the connection, Francesco. I don't know which is the first kitchen we want to involve, probably here in Bologna. So we are going to connect with Tommaso, and that is together with Bernardo, Claudia, and Lorraine, and the team that are cooking over there in the kitchen.
Exactly, Sarah. So I see there is Claudia there. Hi, Claudia. Hi, everyone. Can you put the audio, the microphone on, Tommy?
So I'm here with the chef Bernardo, the youngest climate shaper of our digital, and I have the very strategic role to peel potatoes in order to do the 12 recipes that have been inspired by the countries where our climate shapers are from. So we are honoring all the climate shapers coming from all over the world, cooking these recipes. So I would like to hear Chef Bernardo's chef. Can you explain us what you are doing with bread?
Okay, I'm making the bread. I made a first levitation with a biga, which is a sort of dough that contains a lot of bacteria that make the bread grow inside the oven. Then I added just some flour and some oil, and now I'm working it on this table just for cooling it down because I worked it a lot inside the camera, the robot, and so I'm just making the dough cooling down, and then I will put it inside a sort of bowl, and it has to double, and then it's ready to be cooked.
And which kind of ingredients are you using?
I'm using Italian oil. This type of flour, it's called it's a special type of flour because it comes from just Emilia Romagna. It's a Manitoba and it's tipo uno, so it contains lots of fibers. It contains the black part of the cereal, which is the krusca, and it's a local flour, and it's full of flavor and then we need just water, salt, and
very simple ingredients and local ingredients. So come with me in order to discover the backstage of this kitchen. I would like to introduce you the other Lorraine and Erica. They also are cooking the international recipes. Lorraine, can you explain which are we are preparing?
We have a dish from the United States utilizing corn, kind of with the mentality to eat the rainbow. So we're fresh colors, red peppers, lots of local peppers here. We're using coconut for an Indonesian recipe, and shaving some carrots for an African. Exactly. So it's a really fun task, but it's interesting to note that we are removing these peels from the carrots, not for being translated into waste, but to reuse in African recipes. So I'm really excited to go for that and see the final results.
Okay, fantastic. So this is the answer also of the fight against food waste, waiting for the World Day for the awareness on food loss waste that will be September 29. Also, thanks to the work that United Nations and FAO has done, and we gave a little contribution. Proud of it. Thank you so much, and we cannot wait to see the result of the other kitchens. Bye.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And I want to also connect with Julia, because actually Julia behind the scene, she has been really the one organizing this incredible marathon, keeping everyone on track. So I think everything that you're doing today, we need to make a big applause to Julia for the incredible work she has been doing. So Julia, she's going to follow us from Berlin. And she's going to coordinate all the different kitchen and dinners happening all around the world. So now I'm going to close down my computer because I want to go to the kitchen trying to help the other guys. And I'm going to follow the entire day. So please, let's start sharing all the different meals and the conversation and the insight and the keywords that are going to come out from this incredible marathon. Julia, I leave the mic to you. I handle the torch to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. I wish I was there in Bologna, but soon it will happen that we can cook together. Thank you. I'm excited to see the results later tonight. Ciao. So welcome everyone. Yes, I will try to orchestrate the different countries, students, participants dialing in during the day. So we have two big sessions. One just started now and goes till 4 p.m. CET. So you will have in every half an hour a new batch of participants dialing in, explaining what they are cooking, who are their guests, and what kind of conscious, sustainable conversations they are having over their meal. And I was really happy to see Erica peeling carrots and trying to save the skins, because I actually, and this is already getting cold, but I also had some rescued carrots. There is a company in Berlin called Querfeld, and they are basically selling mixed vegetable boxes directly from farmers, which would have been wasted because they don't meet the quality requirements of supermarkets. So I had a bunch of carrots with the greens. So I turned the greens into a pesto, mixed it with spelt, and I have a local mozzarella maker in Brandenburg who made smoked mozzarella. So that will be my lunch, and I'm so excited to hear all of the different dishes. I'm pretty sure that whoever is watching us will get really hungry, so you better start also cooking along with us and make your climate shaper lunch or dinner. So the next session afterwards will start at 7 p.m. Central European time, again with a 3-hour block. So we will make sure that participants from behind GMT will also have time to dial in and come on the live broadcast. And now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Anastasia Costanzini, who is one of our participants, and she is dialing in from Belgium. And she will introduce you also her guests and the meal, what she was cooking. I already got some background photos from the stove. They look delicious.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anastasia. I'm here in Brussels with my husband. Hello. And my sister and my niece. Hi. But then I decided to invite my friends and also more or less my colleague for some project, Chiara Guy, that now she is based in Spain with his father. So for the our aim of actually our aim of this climate chapter will be to introduce in a very practical way the sustainable aspect of nutrition for my niece, so for my younger, and for father of Chiara, so senior, because we realized that when we started to also to set the table. There are a lot of things that you have to to explain. Why not? Why is better glass or plastic? So we started like this. And then we decided to cook clams and legumes because we tried to find something that was local from Belgium, but also from Spain. So with Chiara, we checked something, then we discovered that clams is, of course, in Belgium, a very local product because there is a long experience of this type of seafood. And the same for her. She is in Blanes, Costa Brava. And then we prepared a salad with dried fruit. And now we are talking about this, how to be sustainable. And we are having a very interesting conversation among young and senior people. I don't know if you, Chiara, would add something.
Yes, of course. I would like to thank you very much, Anastasia, and thank you all. I'm very glad to be here. And yes, with my father, we have sometimes some strange conversation because he's talking about his youngness, and when he was a child, no plastic, no anything, no shoes. So the father he's hungry too, and he's very happy to be here and he lives in Sardinia Island. So he comes from mountains, and so he eats everything more or less. So he has a mix of different food cultures, and he's in love with my kitchen because I'm cooking like my mother, more or less.
Okay.
Complimenti.
Papà, adesso devo spiegare diverse cose.
Okay. So this is okay. Me and Chiara, we are trying to, with this climate supper, to starting from real our community because we notice that is when we talk about sustainability, sometimes it's a lot of theory. Then in the daily life, you see that is not applied. So thanks to this very, very situation, we are trying to do this with our relatives. So this is a beginning. We are working in a training and other stuff related to sustainable nutrition, but we decided to use this climate supper in this way, to starting from our relatives.
That was a very good plan, I think, because I feel we sometimes forget that there are things directly next to us, what we can start working with, who are already climate shapers or making any kind of change. And yes, we also have to educate if we have something to share with the others. So I am really I really like the fact that you are having a the same meal at two different locations. That's amazing, and a lot of thought was put behind. Anastasia, if you could still talk a bit about the past few weeks. So how was this journey for you so far? We started the boot camp on the 6th of July, and this is your third assignment. We also made you interview people and create your life-centered idea. So how has it been for you?
But it is a really great experience, and starting from the beginning and starting also from the each lesson that I attended, because even if I'm already working in this field, And I'm already working in a project management team, something like this, all concept like ecosystem. It was done in a very different way for me, that it was very, very interesting for me, this aspect. And then thanks to this bootcamp, I'm rediscovering my attitude to try to go ahead. So because sometimes when you are working, you achieve a sort of comfort zone, and it's very difficult to go ahead. But this is what I need in this moment. So thank you so much. It's very, very interesting, and a lot of inspiration, a lot of really good story, and also concrete things. Because sometimes it's too much theory, but thanks in this bootcamp, I can see a lot of interview, a lot of speech based on the practitioner, so concrete things. And this is very, 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 very important for me, because I'd like to start from them, from the concrete things. So no, it was, for me, it was very, 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 very important. It's a sort of milestone of my career. Thank you.
That's amazing. I'm happy to hear. And I can't wait to see you working with the other fellows next week on the hackathon to work out an idea what might be ready to be put in action afterwards. So I am not sure if we are having already other participants arriving, but if not, I will keep talking about this climate suffer. I'm so sorry. And Chiara, please tell your father that he should go ahead and eat, not that the food is getting cold, because I heard he said he is hungry. So besides this plastic and so on, what other conversations are you planning to do? So for example, you picked clams for the dish because of the regionality and the accessibility of this. Is that where did you source it from? Did you go to a market and get it directly from the producer, or is that easy to find already in supermarkets, these ingredients?
No, before, because after discovered Entre Nous, that is my interview next week. Thanks to her, I find different cooperative, local farmer, and all of these types of grocery that have all this stuff based on the local market. So usually I tried to go there, and for this occasion, of course, I went there. So everything is local, by local farmer. But this is also what I tried to do in Brussels, to map each cooperative, each local farmer that have some specific requirement related to the sustainability.
Very good. And we actually have someone else from Brussels on the call, I just see now. Anna is here as well. I'm sure she has another recipe, what she prepared as a meal. Hi, Anna.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, I'm good. I woke up 2 hours ago because I partied yesterday, so it's like my lunch. It's like my brunch time now. It's my breakfast and lunch at the same time. Yeah. So
amazing. So what are you eating?
What I'm eating? So because I have this this account on vegetarian cooking, I decided to do a picture of a plate today, and so I tried a new product in the supermarket. I found it's basically falafel, but they made it more sweet with dried fruit. And then I made celery puree, and I added also some coconut yogurt because it was too dry. So yeah, I love falafel, but most of the time they can be very dry if you don't do it very well. And because this is from supermarkets, it's definitely dry, a bit too sad. So yeah, I love to try new products from the supermarket. So every time I can be either very disappointed, either very, very happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I encourage everyone to follow Anna's. Anna has an Instagram account. You have to pronounce the name because my French is not so good.
Yeah, it's La Fille du Boucher, which means butcher's daughter, and so it's So I'm just suggesting, everything is French. It's in French, but if you go on my blog and then you just put like Google Translate, it works well. So I basically try to like communicate on vegetarianism and to break all the cliche about vegetarianism, and yeah, that's basically what I'm doing.
Yes, yes. She's posting really nice recipes a lot of times. And also if you are looking for new products, please follow her because she's like scouting all the time in the supermarket. So she will be definitely the first one who can show you a new product on the shelves.
Yeah, I'm a detective. I love to say that.
Great. So we also had Anna interviewing her father last week for one of the global discoveries we had during the boot camp, and they were talking about the future of the meat industry, and not only the future but also the current situations together with the students. So over the last weeks we had a lot of conversations, and what Anastasia also mentioned, we tried to not only deliver theory during these classes but also real life examples and how this theory can be applied and foster innovation, and how we can get inspired but turn this inspiration into action. And I saw a snippet from one of our next participants quickly, but now the camera is off and I hope she is still here. Evelina, are you still on the line? I think I saw her.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you?
Okay, that's good. I'm fine. So here is my guest. Hello.
Ciao.
Ciao. Hi, guys. So how are you doing?
So far, so good, but I keep talking and my meal is getting very cold. So I will hand over to you and you can maybe tell a bit about yourself. Where are you and what are you eating and what is your conversation about?
Okay, so of course. So we were talking about food and veganism because my friend here, my guest Laura, she's vegan. I'm sorry about the camera. I cannot figure out how to get us both in because we are at a picnic table in a park, actually, here in Venice municipality in Italy. And we are having two different kind of rice. So mine is rice with legumes and cereal, and courgettes, carrots, onions, and tomato. It's called. While Laura is having rice and beans. Okay, so we will mix later on. We'll see. And we are enjoying a nice afternoon in the park. Actually, it's a seaside location, so not a lot of people are here at the moment. Most of them are at the beach, but we organize it quite nicely so we could keep the mic open and not disturb too much anybody around.
That's amazing. So your guest, you said she is vegan, right?
Yeah, she is.
What was the decision? When did you make this decision to follow the diet, and what was your main drive for that?
Oh, well, it's a strong motivation actually. Some years ago, I was working just in front of a slaughtery, and that moment decided that my life changing. So I started to feel strange and different to while I was eating meat, because previously I was eating meat like most of people. But from that moment, something changed inside myself. So I decided to not to do it anymore. And yes, that moment I discovered a new lifestyle. And so now I've been vegan for 4 years and a half, and I'm feeling amazing.
That's great to hear. And how do you make sure that you get the right nutrition when you are planning your meals?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I studied a lot. I was reading a lot of information about it, and asking information also to other people doing the same thing, more expert than myself. So yes, if you decide to change your life in this way, better get a lot of information. So
can I ask you why vegan and not vegetarian if you talk about meat?
yeah, because then I was searching information about in general animal and the industry of the exploitation of animal in general, the dairy industry, and I discovered that it is quite cruel. So for me, it was not only about meat, but in general about animal suffering, and so that's the reason why.
Yeah. So Evelina, tell us a bit about your experience over the past 3 weeks. You were asked to interview people. Now you were asked to make a climate supper, and you had so many different assignments. You met like almost 40 new people. So tell us a bit about your experiences.
So first of all, it's been a pleasure to meet all of you guys, and it's been really interesting and educational to follow up with all the lectures. Everybody who was speaking actually gave me a new perspective and said something I didn't know about food industry and sustainability and different ways to do the things that everybody's doing the same these days, but there is actually innovation. There are lots of ideas and think tanks, and it's really, really good that I got the chance to know this sort of network. So I love this because I have so much things that I want to explore later on. And additionally, I also, well, of course, now we will do the hackathon, which I am looking forward to it, to start getting some ideas. And I have to say that in general, these 3 weeks, other than learning, I've been in a position in which I've been having a lot of new thoughts myself. I think because of this exposure. So I think for the future, I have some nice projects. I would love to share with this network I just made, but I will still they're at the beginning, primer stage, let's say. But I think they came about in my mind thanks to this exposure. So I'm really grateful for you guys and for this experience. It was great. Thanks a lot, Julia, for organizing everything.
No, of course, it's not only me. It's like a big team. It's not only me, but I'm really happy to hear that it's adding value. And I think there was one more question I had for you. So you also have one local discovery coming up next week, right? So who will you interview?
So this is also Laura's friends as well, because since she has this sustainable perspective inside for 4 years, she introduced me to this farm, sustainable farm, which is called Nonno Andrea, which translates Grandpa Andrew, let's say. So they have a farm, they grow vegetables, they sell their produce, and they also have they also cook and serve for people in a way. So they do all the processes, and they have a lot of experience, and they work with sustainability, seasonality, following up all those rules. And I had the pleasure to meet up with them, and I searched. Well, they presented their business, and they were available with this, and they were really interested with the network and to show to everybody what they were doing actually. So we're gonna talk about biodiversity and if there's something else you want to.
If I may add something, they are special farm certified biodiversity friend. So we have a certification that is not only Italian certification, but is an international certification that stands that you are biodiversity friend. So in the farm there is a rich biodiversity, and they have a certification for it.
So that's
amazing.
Yeah.
And they will and if it's possible, because we're gonna see when we're going to the Zoom, if it actually there is a good connection in the garden, they are gonna show us around a bit, which I hope. Let's say we hope so, but we're gonna have to see with the connection. But that's basically what we're going to talk about.
That sounds really good to me. So yeah, what Evelina was talking about is one of the assignments what the student had for this week and next week. They had to find people in their community, in their local environment, immediate surrounding, who are actually taking some actions towards fighting climate change, and let's call them food shapers. So this week we already had a lot of Instagram live sessions going on from all over the world. So each of them organized a 30-minute interview to introduce that climate shaper for the other students and also for their own community. In the meanwhile, we already have some new tables joining us. We have Dieum from South Africa and Inake from South Africa as well. Hi, guys. Wait, I think.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thanks. And you, my mom and I are just sitting on the steps in the shade to be able to see.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Ineke, I saw a picture of your table. Could you please show us, show the others as well? Because I was like, this is a dream. I wish
sorry, I have my computer, so it's going to be a little bit. Let me walk this way. So this is, I don't know if you can see at all.
Hi.
Difficult computer, but this is all my guests. And
beautiful.
Let's introduce you.
Yes, please introduce your table to us.
Okay, wait, Mama, some more faster. I'm gonna see. Yes. Okay. So this is Kathy Pretorius. She's a primary school teacher in at Linwood Ridge Primary School in Pretoria. And that's my father on the end. He's an orthopedic surgeon. And this is Yuba. She works for Nafik Nesa. She partakes or organizes educational exchanges for students. And next to her is her husband, Billy. He is a professor in engineering at Pretoria University.
Hello.
Hi. Very, very great table conversations I kind of expect. So tell us, what is the menu what you created for today?
So this morning my father and I went to the farmers market and we bought some cheese from a local dairy and bread and butter and so on. So we just had some spreads with cheese so far, and then I made a vegan butternut soup for a starter and vegetarian pasta bake, and then for pudding we have a proudly South African lemon dessert, which is very nice for the winter weather that we have now.
So what kind of lemon dessert? I want to know more about that. Please
it's almost like a lemon souffle.
Oh, that sounds really good.
It's a family favorite. We have we used the lemons from our garden and that. So I'm just sitting in the shade for the sun.
Yeah, of course. So tell me, what will be the topics what you would like to talk about with your table guests?
So the most important SDG to me personally is quality education, and that is why I invited people that work with educational platforms and with students. And so far we've discussed some of the key concerns of education, and that is the ability of parents to assist their children, as well as the desire to learn. If there's no desire, then it's almost impossible to improve someone's quality of education. So we've started the conversation around that, and we will be discussing solutions and just problems that we each experience with the fact that there is an inequality in education and how we see that present in our communities.
Very interesting and very important topic. So Ineke also had local discovery this week with her brother. So would you like to tell us a bit about that discussion interview what we had on Wednesday?
Yes, so I interviewed my brother. He's an industrial engineer and he has a master's degree in sustainable agriculture. I'm just going to grab myself a glass of water. Sorry, Julia, I'm struggling.
Of course, no problem. All good. So in the meanwhile, Guillaume, how How are you doing? What are you cooking?
Good, I'm good. Well, it's two different meals. My sister's also logged on. Her name is Lorraine. If you can.
Hi, Lorraine.
Can you please unmute yourself?
Okay, I did.
So that's what Lorraine. Yes. The meal isn't exactly the same because I'm dancing, so I'm not eating carbs. Yes, but she can tell you about her meal. But the main ingredients is tuna, of course, and Food Garden veg.
Yeah. So where are you dialing in from?
Lindmeyer.
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg,
South Africa.
Nice, nice. So Lauren, what is your meal?
I love pasta, so I'm not cutting out on my carbs. It's just a tuna salad. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Kind of.
I think it's the lighting. But it's got tuna and it's got like garden vegetable herbs. We've got parsley inside, also green onions that I grow, as well as peppercorns we put inside, and purple onions. And
habanero chili.
Habanero chili that we grow in the garden.
Nice. So what will be your conversation over this shared tuna salad?
So we were just looking at food sustainability in general, eating healthy, cutting down on the meat. It's quick, it's light on the stomach. Yeah. Sorry, so I have the whole thing planned out because you said we had 10 minutes and I followed the guide. So I thought I'd have my 10 minutes to control the conversation.
Oh, yes, you go on. I give you the 10 minutes so I can eat. Please go. And then Ineke, we will get back to you afterwards. So
okay.
10 minutes start now.
Introduce yourself to the other guests and all of that. So I wanted to do that.
That's okay. You go on.
All right,
the stage is yours.
All right. Then just very quickly, my name is Demi. I'm a master's student at the University of Johannesburg. I'm in Johannesburg, and the importance of this is that it's a climate sup and we all get to share ideas around food and sustainability. Future Foods believes that in order to make change and innovation, we need to get through people by stimulating these conversations in the community. Yes, so the whole point of this is to help us as students activate our local systems, drive more positive changes towards this movement. Yes, so Lorraine has already been introduced, and as an icebreaker, I just wanted to ask you, what object do you think represents you and why? What would represent you?
My iPhone. Okay. It has, why? It's because it's convenient. It's everything in one. And I feel I am like that as well. I have a lot of knowledge and I disperse them at different times when needed in different areas.
Okay.
So yeah, my phone would represent me.
Yeah, that's a very good one. And since I chose the dish with the tuna and all of that, so that it could suit my dish, so that we could talk about the same thing, even though we're not together, what would you have chosen in terms of your meal and why? Why would that meal describe you?
Okay, I would have also chosen some form of seafood because I'm trying to lose weight. And no, I feel like meat nowadays, you don't know what is put into the meat. You don't know what is put into the animals. A lot of the animals are growing faster than expected. So a lot of them are genetically modified. And if you are what you eat, if you are eating a fast growing animal, what is happening to your body? What is happening to you? I mean, we've seen that even in girls. Back then, girls used to mature around 17, 18. Now, girls in South Africa are maturing or going through puberty at 9, 10. So I'm very conscious of the type of foods that we eat now. It's very concerning because I have 2 little girls myself. I don't want to go through puberty I don't want them going through puberty too soon. So that is the contributing factor of the foods. If they are going to eat meat, I choose for it to be very lean meat and very limited amounts of meat. Rather seafood because I feel that's safer. I don't see stories of people genetically modifying and fast growing fishes, but you see that in farm animals a lot. So I am trying to avoid. So it will probably be sushi because they like sushi.
I have very bad experience with sushi. I once had it with what's that sauce? Wasabi sauce.
What the sauce isn't wasabi.
Wasabi, yes.
Wasabi is pungent.
Yeah, so I had a very bad experience with that. So I'm not really a sushi person. Okay, and then now we move on to the trigger questions. You spoke of your daughter. Could you give a high five for us?
Hey, she's my cameraman. Thank you, honey. You're doing a great job.
Okay, and then would you like to also give her a compliment since she's there with you?
My dear, you're amazing, hey? You're always asking me how I'm doing. She looks out for me. She's very conscious about how I am. She's a very caring child.
Okay, and just to everyone, I was supposed to have 2 more guests, my lecturer and my friend Sarah, but Sarah had other commitments, and with my lecturer, it kind of clashed. So my sister's my only guest, so I'll be asking her all the questions.
You may proceed.
What's your passion in general?
In general, I love art. I love art. I love nature, and I like drawing, and I also love spending time with my daughters. I love encouraging them to pick on their own forms of creativity, whether it's them tearing their clothing and making pants into shirts, or doing beadwork or jewelry or just anything. I just inspire them to be connected to nature and to just find themselves. Okay. Art is beautiful. It comes in many forms.
All right, thank you. And then what's your favorite food memory and what can you cook best?
My favorite food memory would actually go back all the way to what my mom used to make. She used to make a lot of dishes. Personally, I'm not the type that cooks a lot because I'm working most of the time. I'm a city slicker, so fast meals are more my thing. But now I've made the choice to constantly make faster, healthier meals. So your salads are always available, because my mom used to have a huge garden, all right? You were very, very young, so you didn't know. Mom used to have a very big garden before they traveled, and mom used to grow everything in the garden. The only thing we would go buy in the shop was meat and probably bread. But sometimes she would actually make us go buy flour, and she would make the bread herself from scratch. If we wanted onions, if we wanted tomatoes, if we wanted anything, she grew it in the garden. If it's a vegetable, it was grown in the garden. So cooking actually reminds me of being conscious of what you eat and what you put in you. Grow your own food, it would be better.
All right, thank you. And what is the biggest challenge you face now?
The biggest challenge is living in the city. Living in the city doesn't give me that opportunity to grow stuff as much as I want. The best I can do is windowsill gardens for herbs and spices. So I would love to grow bigger plants and bigger vegetables like your butternut and your pumpkins. But being in the city and living in a flat, that makes it difficult. So that's the biggest challenge most city folks face, is growing their own vegetables due to lack of space.
Yeah. And also just on that note of growing your own food, because you don't have to spend much if you're growing your own food, because now somehow everything just keeps going up, you know, inflation and all of that, and affording food, a lot of food isn't that easy. So yeah,
food
having your own food garden
is pricier.
Yes,
food is definitely pricier. And you know what, the hardest thing is you're buying expensive food, but they are not 100% healthy. Most of them are genetically modified.
Yeah.
So healthier foods, organic foods, if you do get the chance to buy them, they are an arm and a leg worth of their price. So it's harder to eat healthier. That's the biggest challenge we are facing.
Yeah. Okay. This meal, can you just walk them through what were your feelings or thoughts when you were preparing this tuna salad meal that I asked you to prepare?
I was happy. It's fast.
It's fast, right?
The pasta boils for 10 minutes. You just chop up the herbs, you chop up the vegetables, and you have tuna. You mix it.
And did
I
you
literally
maybe
did it in under 15 minutes.
Okay, and did you add, like, I don't know, a salad sauce or something like that, just to give it a bit of depth?
I put mayonnaise. I put mayonnaise, but it's reduced oil mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
So more conscious.
All right. And then with regards to my meal, I have the laptop. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Can you see it? Putting the camera down, the laptop down. Do you see?
Yeah, I did.
Does everyone see? Okay. So, like I said earlier on, Lorraine made a pasta-based tuna salad. And then for myself, since I'm venting, I don't have carbs. So I had cabbage. I fried it in coconut oil with the same parsley and spring onions and pepper and sea salt. And then I topped it with Evo and feta cheese on top. Yes. Lastly, the topics that we were thinking of talking about on sustainability is with regards to food that is processed, it's not healthy. So hence we're trying to move away from that and have our own small food gardens and get food from that and cut from unnecessary things like Coke and heavy meals, fatty chips, all of those things. We're trying to move away from that so that we can remain healthy. What are your thoughts towards GMOs? I heard you bringing that up. What are the bad adverse effects of that?
Well, with the GMOs, I know, like I will not stress more than enough, like it affects the body. If the body, if something you're putting inside you is growing quicker than it's supposed to, what is it doing to you? Because you are what you eat. Okay, so that means you are aging faster as a human being. Your cells are being deteriorating faster, and it accelerates your chances of illnesses, especially illnesses such as cancer or diabetes. And also the biggest issue is that us as city people live in a life of convenience. Okay, people could eat stacks of meat back then because they walked long distances. They did the manual work. Now we have machines and cars that take us everywhere and everything. So we can't eat the same portions that they used to eat. And we cannot be eating excessively forced grown foods, as it will age us and make us sicker. So that's my biggest concern against GMO foods. So we should look to more healthier options.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much for being able to join me and be my guest for this climate supper. I really hope everyone has taken something from our conversations and our meals and our ideas. Lorraine, thank you again. And I'd like to ask you if you could please hashtag this. I have a picture that I've already added to my Facebook and Instagram story, on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'll share the picture with you if you can just also just add us onto the thread and just put your little bit of it. We'll also take pictures of our meals and spread the word. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was lovely to have you here. Thanks for all the preparation for your 10 minutes. I really appreciate it.
Have you shared the image on the chat too, on the Google chat too?
Okay, I will add it to the Google chat now. Okay.
Thank you.
Can you please send me a picture of your meal as well, so I can share it on?
No problem. My cameraman will do that.
Okay.
Thanks for the cameraman too. Thank you, girls. Thank you.
Bye.
So back to Ineke for the next few minutes.
Sorry about that.
No, all good, all good. We are just trying to keep the conversation running.
Yes. So you're asking about my brother and the local discovery. So he is currently working in using systems for nutrient recycling, and what he's using is black soldier fly larvae to use waste and then produce they produce the larvae, which they use as feed, and it feeds into an aquaponic system which feeds the fish, and they grow some vegetables, and they're also able to use some of the manure and the waste as compost afterwards. Yeah, it was a more in-depth conversation than that.
Exactly, and I didn't expect you to go so much in detail. I can tell everyone I listened for the live session, and it is still available in Inaka's IGTV. So if you want to know more about this, please tune into her channel. And I think we went through already your menu and also the conversation. So before we hand over to the other half an hour section, could you tell me a bit about your experiences over the past 3 weeks? How was this journey so far for you? And yeah.
It was a very eye-opening and enjoyable journey. I've learned so much from different people, things that I never thought about and things that just never to me seemed important, and I've rediscovered some values, and there's definitely been a new appreciation, and I've almost changed what I want to do in life. I've focused more, changed my focus a bit more, to include a bit more public health. I've decided or discovered that that is something that I'm really passionate about. And I've met so many amazing people and enthusiastic people. It is so nice to have a conversation with someone else that feels equally as enthusiastic and knows so much, that you can learn from so much. So it was, to me, an amazing journey so far. And I'm looking forward to the hackathon and to the challenge that that may pose. And I'm also in awe of the team and of you being able to organize this and all the admin that must go into it. I take my hat off to you and to everyone else that is working behind the scenes to make this happen.
Thank you. It has been very inspiring for us as well. It's all the different stories and backgrounds joining, and I can't wait for the hackathon next week. I am very curious how those life-centered ideas, what you guys started to work on, will shape. And well, I will let you join back your table conversation because we already have the other participants here. If you want, of course, you can stay online and just listen in for the rest. And now I will go over and introduce the other participants. Thank you, Ineke. Enjoy your
bye.
lunch.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
So now I think it's time for Gian and Adrian also to join with their camera and mic on. How are you? You are muted.
Yeah. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
How
Where
are
are you?
So there's a little surprise for you guys. I came down to my local bodega. It's a vegetable shop. We are using exotic vegetables that are locally grown and then making something super simple out of it. It's going to be a local take on nachos and a ideology on pico de gallo, like a salsa. So we're going to be making a salsa. We've got some local breads here, and we're going to get started. But I want to ask you, should we start off right now, or should we wait up like another 3 minutes or so?
No, you can go on.
I can? Okay, fantastic. Hi everyone. So I am trying to work on SDG goal 2 and 5, which is related to hunger and gender equality. Here I'm just going to pan the camera. Just a minute. Here we have Auntie. Hi, Auntie.
Hi.
She runs the local shop here. I'm going to show, this is what we have around here. So you can see amazing vegetables. It's a local store. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
All these producers come in every day. Again, it's a store. It's about 5:30 in the evening, so there is traffic. So again, all the vegetables right there are sourced by these guys every day in the morning, and it comes in fresh from the farms for us to eat. So it's going to be a very fun event today. Well, I'm panning back to Auntie. Auntie, आप कब से रहे हैं यहाँ पे इस दुकान में?
10 साल हो गया.
10 साल. So she's saying she's been doing this for the past 10 years. So they've had the store for the past 10 years. They have been working very closely with farmers and vendors to get us the food and the ingredients we have at home today. And during lockdowns, we should be thankful for them to get us the best produces. Again, I come from a place that does not use a lot of pesticides and insecticides whatsoever. So a lot of them are somewhat organic. Right. So going down, we are going to work with a lot of local ingredients today. Starting off with this. Auntie, iska naam kya hai? Okay, so she's saying, so wait, one second. Can you guys see this? Auntie, this is a baby pumpkin. Baby pumpkins are pretty common in our community. You get them pretty fresh. If you cut them open in half, I'll just show you guys. Okay, they're fetching a knife for us. So that's a baby pumpkin, guys. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys get to see it. The next thing that we have here is, again, Auntie dikhaiye. That is, okay, so it's called tindley here. It's another baby vegetable. It's a baby cucumber. It's super small, guys. Can you guys see that? Super, super small. The next thing we have is bell peppers that have been roasted on coconut. So coconut shell roasted bell peppers here. We've got local tomatoes that we have been roasting. Those are local tomatoes, guys. And then finally, we have a breed of chili. If anyone knows what chili this is, do put it down in the description. We have roasted that as well. Now, Auntie, आप ये काट के दिखाएंगे? So that's the pumpkin, guys. So if you guys can see, it's an actual baby pumpkin. It's the same white stuff on the inside, same seed. It's pretty interesting and it's pretty sweet. So Auntie's going to make us a dish today. Auntie.
It's quite strange, Gian. I've never seen something like that. It's
pretty exotic. So two ingredients there. Number one was the baby pumpkin. The other one's the baby cucumber. It's super tiny. It's super small. That's a cucumber, guys. It's super small. You can eat it raw. Now, coming on to the main idea for today, we have a local snack bread that's available. Auntie, it's super thin. It's cooked on charcoal. It snaps. Auntie, aise todiye usko. Yeah, you guys can see that. It's super, super thin. So it's a good tea time snack. Given that it's 5:30 today, we decided to do that. Right. Auntie, abhi ye plate ko utha dijiye. Okay, right. So Auntie is going to make a little dish for us. We have, right. So you guys remember the roasted tomatoes and the roasted peppers? We have roasted them off, de-seeded them, taken the skin off, because again, once it turns to char, you can pretty much rub the peel off and the peel falls off. You're left with like really good stuff here. Now Auntie is going to squeeze it all, get the juices out and get going with them. Auntie, आप इसको निचोड़ेंगे, नीचे रखिए आराम से, हाँ उसको निचोड़िए. So nichodna is a Hindi term which means squeeze. So we are going to squeeze the tomatoes and make a salsa of sorts out of it. Anji, sab mila ke usko nichodiye. So we've got the chilies, we've got the bell peppers, we've got the tomatoes. It's more like a salsa cruda, like a very crude sauce that you're going to make out of it. आंटी थोड़ा मुस्कुराइए ना.
हम लोग इसका सब्जी बनाता है.
नहीं, कहिए ना आप कैसे बनाते हैं. She's going to talk in Hindi and I'm going to try and translate that to English. So आंटी आप इसको कैसे बनाते हैं? The white pumpkin.
सब्जी तेल डालता है.
हाँ.
और फिर राई जीरा तड़का लगाता है.
Okay.
फिर वो डालता है, मिर्ची का पाउडर डालता है, नमक डालते हैं.
Okay.
So
she claims the best way to cook white pumpkins are to saute them with some oil and some cumin and some chilies, and it's really, really good as a snack on its own with some bread. So right now, as you guys can see, she's been squeezing it, getting all the juices out. Getting all the juices out. It's turning into a sauce, as you guys can see that. Can I hear a yes, please? I'm not getting any responses.
We can see that.
Amazing, amazing. Right.
Yeah.
So as you guys did see, we put some lemon in there. Now, this is an interesting perspective. Auntie Hath Police. Okay. Now, this is a local spice blend, guys. It's made from dried coconut, dried peanuts, dried chilies, and dry garlic. You fry them all and then you ground them coarsely. And this is going to be the base for our sauce today. Auntie, aap isko isme डाल के उसको दिखाइए अच्छे से. Now she is going to marinate the salsa with this spice blend. So again, guys, as she's doing that, you guys can again have a look at our beautiful vegetable market. I'm going to try and zoom in. Can you guys see the fresh produce there?
Yes, I see that.
Yeah, that's
what is the prickly one? There's a prickly one there. The prickly looking green vegetable.
This one?
I haven't seen, no, further down.
This one?
Like behind you. No, it looks like it's got pricks. It's prickly, very prickly.
Oh, is it this one?
No. Do you see it, Julia?
Sorry.
It's towards the end.
It's towards the end.
As we're waiting for her. Yes, it's one of those traits.
Oh yeah. Is it beside the long ones?
Yeah, it's long and prickly. I just wanted to know what was that. I haven't seen something like that before.
Are you talking about that? Hold on. Wait, help me out.
That's the one.
This one?
Jan, do you have bitter gourd there? Could it be that?
Yeah, that's bitter gourd. Can I have a look at it?
Oh, is that the one? I haven't seen that before. So I was asking. Yes, that's it. That's it, Jan.
That's a bitter
gourd. What is that? It's a vegetable, right? Is it bitter?
Yeah, it's a bitter gourd.
So it's bitter.
Yeah, it's super bitter.
How do you cook it? What do you eat it with?
Wait, so I'm gonna pan the camera back to Auntie and she's gonna tell us the best way to do that.
Okay.
Gian, I have a question for you. Because it seems to me that you won't be done in 3 minutes, but Adrian's guests need to leave and I would like to give them the chance as well to say something. So would you mind if we switch to Adrian quickly and then we can get back to you and give you a bit more time?
Yeah, I think that's good enough for me. I can do that. I can wait.
Okay, great. So thank you, Gian. And now Adrian, hi, how are you?
Hi, and Gian, thank you so much.
No worries. I'll keep this.
Okay, so everyone at our supper drinks, you want to turn on your camera if you can? Okay.
Oh, there is your friend who made the video with all the gestures. Hi, nice to see you.
Shubham, your face has been circulated. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm gonna try to go quickly. Again, I'm Adrian. I work as a farmer and landscaper in India. And so the lovely group we got today was organized to really discuss tangible steps to starting and sustaining a movement, not specifically a food movement, but just around this idea of like, how do you actually organize people and shift a thought process into the right direction without being too concerned with specifics. And so for this gathering, I ended up inviting Joanna, who I actually met at a social entrepreneurship incubator when I was starting out in India 10 years ago. And we actually were both overheard each other talking about how we needed to start a movement and not just be focused on solutions. And then we kind of moved closer to each other and found each other. And globally, Joanna actually supports organizations to create conscious and effective multi-stakeholder sustainable development collaborations, which is a mouthful, but I'm amazed I got that. And in Goa, she's actually involved in a number of transition initiatives, including state circular economy strategy stuff and citizen initiatives. So then I obviously wanted Joanna, and then I invited Shubham, who all of you know now. And we've known each other for years. And actually this year we decided to work together on a project, and we actually promised each other I think that we would commit our lives to working on this food justice project together. So yeah, let's see how that goes. And he is the president of the Food Truck Association of India, the founder of Better Foods, and he does global support and strategic communications and media coordination for XR Asia, something. I think I got that right. Shubham?
I work with Extinction Rebellion, like the global support. That's their international body. And I work with strategy for the global support team. I work with the Global South for helping them out in media. And I also work with Asia to support them in terms of whatever they need supporting with to build their own formats. And like nobody is permanent out here. So like I could be here 1 month and then Francesca can replace me next month. So that's how it goes.
And so basically the best thing about Shubham also is that he knows everybody. So when I was looking for who else to invite to this drinks, he told me about Francesca and Janet. And then again, because the world is so small, Francesca and Joanna actually know each other also. And so we have Francesca here, who's a writer and anthropologist from Goa, and she co-founded Wild BU. And they basically kind of explain complex climate and ecological crisis ideas through education and arts events. And she is also part of XR, and she's also been part of a super important movement that's happening here in Goa right now called Save Molam campaign. And then last but not least, we have Janet, who is an experienced designer, which one of her projects was called Blindfolded Conversations. And it was the most viral kind of event in India, which had 800 attendees in one day participate. And she's also done 850-kilometer solo walk along the coastline of India. And she's covering stories about people and the planet. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of cool stuff. And she's also working on a book. So now, got that out of the way. What I wanted us to do quickly is for them to all just share what they're drinking, because sorry, we're gonna do food next week. So this is drinks and an intro. And then we're in the middle of a conversation. So I've also just asked them all to share something from our conversation that sparked a thought in their head that they'd like to share with all of you. Okay.
All right, so who will start? I'm listening. Adrian, I think you have to point out the person who will talk from your group.
Oh, they had no problem in our drinks all talking. Who wants to go first? Joanna, do you want to go first?
Hi, yeah, sure, I can. So my name is Joanna. I'm sitting in Goa. I'm drinking a beautiful boutique gin that's distilled here in a glass that's made from a recycled beer bottle. So in keeping with the whole circular economy, no waste theme. What was the other thing I had to introduce about myself other than what I was drinking? I got a little fixated on the gin, to be honest. It's 5:45 here. It's not
something that sparked.
So something that sparked me. So I think what was really exciting about the group together is we'd only just started the conversation, but really just joining the dots about the fact that everyone's doing very different things, but there is actually this North Star that sits between us, which is around healthy food systems. So whichever way you're looking at it, it's really important that we can somehow come together and figure out what that movement is. So we really only started the conversation, but I'm already excited about how we could progress that. And my work, a lot of my work is in participatory process. And so I'm excited to think through how could we stage something in Goa, bringing people together. We're really at the moment trying to reimagine our agriculture in Goa because there's a whole lot of reasons, but tourism is crashing. We've got a lot of agricultural space. It's been a real estate boom. People didn't want to farm. And so really excited about how we could work together and look at how we could transition things in Goa. So that's just what's percolating with me at the moment. Thank you.
Who's next, guys?
I'll go last.
I can go next.
Please.
Yeah, so as you already know, I'm Francesca and I'm based in Goa. And my drink for this evening is Kokum Juice, which I love. Like, I love Kokum Juice. It's a great digestive. It's super tasty. It's used in a lot of, it's also used as an ingredient in a lot of food on the Konkan coast, which is my side of India. And another fun fact, which is not so fun, is that the kokum tree is actually in danger. I read an article last year that said it's in danger of going extinct within the next 50 years. And so I felt like, what better beverage to have with me than this amazing and precious fruit. And yeah, one of the takeaways from a like really interesting conversation, I felt like we could have gone for much longer, was this idea of narratives, like the stories that we tell in order to motivate ourselves towards this larger project, and how those narratives can be powerful, but like also where is the balance between getting too fixed on the story that you start to tell and then like thinking that that's the only outcome that you can achieve, versus like the initial creativity that actually was more exploratory and it was more flexible and like moldable. So it was, I think, like I could see that direction, which I would have personally really liked to. I mean, I'm looking forward to next week taking that conversation forward. But that was something that I felt like all of us who are working in a social justice space kind of contend with, like how carried away can we get in our own little circles. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, Janet, do you want to go?
Sure. Hi. I'm Janet. Today evening, I'm having lemon tea with ginger and clove in it. I switched over to lemon tea a while ago once I started traveling, and especially during my entire walk, because until then I was a complete filter coffee addict. And once I started walking, you have terrible coffee along the Kerala coastline. Somehow everybody is on black tea. And also lemon tea is historically, it has some form of historical significance in Kerala. You find that it's often called as Sulaimani there, and it jumps over back to Bangalore, where you have Muslim pockets which have this tea everywhere. So yeah, today I've got a historical drink with me. In the conversation that we had before, a couple of things struck out to me. One was I'm stuck in a bubble due to this entire COVID-19 pandemic. I'm stuck in a bubble because I'm stuck at home. And it's so lovely to hear voices which are looking at a bigger picture out there. And I feel like I'm not alone. And it's very, very hard to not feel alone when you're stuck at home all day. So this is really, really good to be out here. And I'm very grateful for this. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Janet. So now to Shubham.
Yeah, I thought that I'm going to say my drink is going to be coconut kanji. A kanji is something that you add asafoetida and a bunch of other cool spices in it, and then you ferment it. Then I was like, no, I made rice 2 days back and I have not, eaten that as of yet. And it was lying in my fridge. But what happens is that there is something called, in Bengali, because I'm from Bengal, the starch becomes something else and you can drink that next day. And we generally fry some potatoes or fry an egg out and have it just with rice, with lemon and some salt. It's called panta bhat. But like, I'm literally sipping on that, not having done that for like the last, 10 years. And I'm not telling anybody anything about how it tastes right now, because like everybody's taste buds are different. So how would you know what you like or what I like? Takeaway from movement angle that Adrian pushes. So Adrian is a wonderful person. Like, she puts joy into any conversation, regardless of what the topic could be about. And when I have to think, I get to think. Usually what I feel like nowadays, we don't get to think anymore. Like not in a free way of like thought processes. And so movement feels like a choice, and movement feels like something that is like, privileged, and I would be able to do so because like others can't, and I need to do it on their behalf.
Julia, just 1 minute. We want to have a quick hello from our location. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
We are going to come back also, as you know, in this afternoon. Thank you, and you enjoy too.
All right.
What is Quality Walls doing there? Francesco. What was I saying? Yeah, so what I took away from our conversation was the like something else. And what I want to talk about in terms of a food movement in general would be participation with the people that you don't want to participate with. It's difficult, be it your parents or otherwise. And they don't understand your language probably, or they don't understand what you want to say. But once you crack it with a couple of people, then you crack it for good because you're their friend post that. Yeah, so like for a movement, I feel like participation with somebody else who you don't think that you want to be a part of, but like we need everybody out here, all hands on deck. That's my takeaway for today, but there's so much more. It's always evolving. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate everyone. I think we went a couple minutes over, but thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. And here are my jazz hands. I really appreciate everything what you shared with us. Gian, back to you. Thanks for your flexibility. Ciao.
Thank you, Gian.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity of an extended time. I think Auntie is getting a little shy and paranoid at the same time because I'm taking time between her business right now. Right. So finishing off, our salsa, as you guys can see, has become pretty thick. Now she's going to add the exotic vegetables. So we have baby cucumber, we have regular cucumber, and shavings of baby white pumpkin. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Auntie, isko pura milana usko. And isko uthayenge hum. So again, you can see. So you can see she's going to integrate those vegetables into it. It's super healthy. There's no fat. Very citrusy. It's really good for the weather, given the fact that it's monsoons here in India. And yeah, and again, the local name for this in India is called khakra, Khakra. It's like an Indian version for nachos, to be honest. So yeah, again, so I'm just going to pan the camera. That's a son here, and he claims apparently it's really good for breakfast. It's made from wheat flour. Aate se banta hai? It's made from wheat flour. Okay, so as you guys can see, we are good to go. Now she is going to plate this on for us. Masala papad, Auntie.
मसाला पापड़ बना रहे हैं हम लोग
हाँ
समोसे लगे आपको भी खाने का काफी आ जाओ दिखाया ना हमको
हेलो ये थोड़ा करना है थोड़ा
बस,
कर
बस,
भला
बस.
नहीं है
Auntie, एक minute. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah,
It looks
so
delicious.
That's the final dish. Now we, so pretty much you just break it up and you scoop in just like how we have nachos. And that's the end for today's dish. And Auntie, आप तोड़ेंगे सबके लिए थोड़ा-थोड़ा?
तोड़ेगा ना
तोड़िए ना. And there we, एक
दूसरा प्लेट में गई
minute. And there we have it. Auntie, दिखाइए कैमरा के सामने. There we go. Can we have a big round of applause for her, please?
Thank you, Gian.
It was nice.
Thank you for sharing this. Amazing.
Again, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you. I have nothing else to say right now. Yep. But then,
That's
yeah,
okay. That's okay. It was very nice.
Thanks. But see you guys later.
See you. And in the meanwhile, we also have someone else from India who dialed in. Elizabeth, can you turn on your camera at least to say hi? Elizabeth? Aye. Maybe we have some connectivity issues. So Elizabeth York is a fellow student of mine, and she's one of the local hosts from India. And I just convinced her to jump on the call to say hi. And now she either has some connection issues or is a bit too camera shy. So I will just talk about her. She was a fellow student of mine during our food innovation program in 2018. And and then with another fellow, Anusha Murthy, they started Edible Issues. So they are having a regular newsletter going out about the Indian food system in a digital format, and they are working on different projects. And a few of the participants who joined us on the digital bootcamp were actually coming through their referral. But I still cannot see her coming. Guys, can you still hear me? Hello. Suddenly everything became so quiet. Elizabeth, are you there?
Hi, Jules. I'm here with horrible internet.
All right. Okay. Did you hear me introducing you already?
Did you? Oh, thanks. I bet you said such nice things.
Of course. But maybe it's better if you quickly tell a bit about Edible Issues. Anna is already on it and send the link in the chat for those who
Sorry, it's one of those days. It's one of those days where like the internet connection is so bad, and yeah. So, anyways, yeah, but this is so cool. So glad to be part of this climate supper for a bit. So I was super lucky to be part of the food innovation program in 2018, 2 years ago, which feels like forever, with Julia and Anna. And yeah, it was really exciting because we had like the inspiration over there to start Edible Issues, to kind of start understanding and exploring the Indian food system. And that has taken us on to meet so many people like Adrian, for example, that we did on our global mission, and Shubham at the Bombay canteen. And so it's been really exciting that Edible Issues is now a space where not only do we have these amazing people who we know and who we connect with, who are doing actual things on the ground, but we're able to understand and talk about food system issues and kind of see what the future will be, or help kind of think about what we want the future to be. So it's really exciting, and it's exciting to be here.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And maybe we have a few more minutes before I jump on the next slot of participants. You have been also involved in another project called Food Forward India. Could you please tell us a bit about the trip you had at the beginning of the year?
Oh, yeah. So I'm also a researcher on this project called Food Forward India, which is a project that was started by Chef Garima Arora to essentially answer the question of what is the future of Indian food. And the idea was that we don't understand fully our food in a present sense, or in the past, or understand culture and tradition. So it's kind of a discovery project to explore, understand, taste, appreciate mostly food across India through either cooking techniques or ingredients, through traditions, through food related crafts, and through urban, rural, and tribal spaces. And so we did our first trip. We were lucky enough to do that before the lockdown, was in Telangana, where we spent some time in a tiny village called Peddamaduru, and learned about mostly about the toddy tapping culture. And then we spent some time with the Chenchu tribes in the Nalamala forest, and we got to kind of have like a bigger conversation with people within food in Hyderabad to kind of understand what food in the state meant to them and how they saw it going into the future. And so, yeah, that's another exciting project that I'm working on. And unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, we kind of have to stop our explorations, but hopefully we can get back soon to that. Actually meeting people, I think that's something that I really miss the most. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And before you leave me, I'm just checking if Marco is already online and can hear me well. I saw some connecting messages popping up. Marco, are you there? All right, it seems to be not working very well with the connections at the moment. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Julia.
All right, Marco, give me some signs, please. In the meanwhile, who else do I still have on the call who I can continue my conversation with? Hi, Jeff, how are you doing?
Hey, Julia. How's it going?
It's good. How is it going for you? I see you have like a pretty nice sky behind you. The setup is pretty good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's not the best.
Good. In fact, I'd love to show you where. One second. In fact, if I can check back in with you in 5 minutes with a better connection.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, because we cannot really hear you right now. Meanwhile, I can see Marco messaging. But Marco, I can see you being on the participant list.
That's all right.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Marco, do you have camera to turn on by any chance? Okay, so while we wait for Marco to connect, Francesco, I know you are in the middle of your lunch, but I think I need some company here. Maybe you can tell me what you guys are having for lunch right now? Hi, Anna.
Hi, of course, basically.
Thank you.
Basically, we are eating now different dishes, but this morning it's a little bit more traditional. We can say we have eaten, a few of us have eaten tagliatelle alla bolognese. That it's a typical dish not only of the city of Bologna, but maybe one of like the most typical kind of pasta that you can eat everywhere. And also we are just continuing to cooking what we will eat tonight, because tonight, as you know, there will be also the dinner in this space, and will be a very, very interesting occasion. First of all, because basically it's the first time until we can say the end of the quarantine here in Italy that we are able to make a dinner, an experience like this. Of course, making the distance and having like all the measures that we need to have, but will be a very emotional moment too, we can say. And so this is why we are preparing all day long. And I was very happy also to see all the participants and their amazing, very amazing dishes. First of all, I've seen also then on the chats they have sent several photos that are amazing. And for those who are watching now us from YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, just also follow our tweets and our posts on Instagram, because you will find simply amazing photos of today. And basically that's all. And I was also interested on the content that they bring into them, not only from the dishes part, but also about what they said to the others. I was also pretty pretty happy to see from them that they are having a very interesting experience with our digital bootcamp, because now we are at the end of the third week, so we can say that like their feedback could be a sort of balance of what we are doing, and I'm super happy to see that they are happy about it, that they have learned it, and I was particularly I don't know how to say it in English, colpito, but was very interesting for me to see that they were speaking about the concrete aspect of what we've done, like the idea that we have shared content, but we can say in a more concrete way, and also that every time there was a space for the dialogue between us with the speakers, and thinking that probably just a few months ago, an experience like this would be unbelievable, I can say, or we will not figure it out. We had another image of the bootcamp that we had to do, probably more similar to the one that we are going to do in Polica at September.
Exactly.
But we didn't know about a formula like this one, and to see how these, of course I'm speaking from me, but how this worked, and all the, what can I say, all the passion that the students had in this experience was very inspirational for me.
Yes. Thank you, Francesco. Maybe later, when I again have a little gap, I want you to talk about the space where you are, about Scuderia a bit, but I can see Yuli already arriving, so I will just hand over to her and ask her how is her breakfast preparation going. Yuli, you are still on mute. You have to unmute yourself.
Perfect. Here we are. Hello, everyone. Good morning from Lincoln, Nebraska. Here is our climate supper. So here we have, hopefully you can see them, my friends from different parts of Latin America. We all live in Nebraska.
Yuli, can you talk a bit closer to the camera? Sorry, your sound is a bit low.
What about now? Is that better?
It's perfect. It's better, definitely better.
Sure. So we decided to go for a breakfast, and I have my friends here. I want to just introduce. I will let them tell their names. Where are they from? To start with. So.
Hi, I'm Raisa. I'm from Puerto Rico. Hello, from Lincoln, Nebraska. My name is Karen, and I'm from Honduras, Central America.
My name is Bismarck Martinez, and I'm Yuli's husband, so I'm from Nicaragua.
We saw you eating after the digital convivium buns. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes. I was looking at a pig for that.
Hello, my name is Osler Ortez, and I am originally from Nicaragua.
Hi. And you? Hi. Very nice crew around the table. So what are you eating?
Yeah, so now they are my friends from here. They are my family in Lincoln, Nebraska, but they are here for a reason. They don't know it yet, but they are students. They are food science students.
Wait. So Yuli, keep the camera facing you. Sorry, because that's the only way when we can hear you.
What about now? Is that better?
Better.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so here we are, and Osler is also an agronomy student.
No. Sorry. On the other now, exactly. I can see you and you can talk because I think your microphone is in the front. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Let's do that.
Yes.
Anyways, so what I was telling is that they are here for a reason. They are food scientists, and Osler is an agronomist. So he does have a perspective from the agricultural side of things. And my husband, Raisa and Karen, are food scientists, but they focus on microbiology, so a lot of food safety.
which is relevant for the work that I do in water reuse. So moving on, today I prepare a dish that is called tigrillo. It will be like little tiger, the translation into English. And this is a dish, can you just pass it to me? So this is the dish, hopefully you can see it. And this is made of plantain. You know, it's a green plantain. It has bacon on it. It has cheese and eggs. And it's a pretty traditional dish from my country in Ecuador. Because, you know, for me, food is it's gathering. It's not only to fuel the body, but to fuel the soul as well, right? So I like to share with all of my friends all the time. We do this pretty often, but we keep it small today because of COVID. But anyways, the reason why I choose it is because, of course, this is not local to Nebraska, but it's local to a lot of our countries. And it's so accessible, it's inexpensive, it's widely available in the entire Latin America. And, you know, recently in our conversations, we talk about the passport of the banana. So in every plantation of banana, you always will find a plantain as well, like another people growing plantains. I don't, can I share something with like my screen? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So, okay, perfect. So I prepare something for you guys, and I will go pretty quick because I know that you have a lot of things to do today.
I am excited.
Here we go. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
It's loading. Just 1 second. Now we can see. Yes. Maybe you want to put it in a presenter mode.
Let me see here. There you go. Let me. Okay. Let me just go back a little bit to the first slide. So we discussed about the banana passport at some point in our conversation, and it caught my eye because, you know, right there, it says Ecuador. That's the country that I am from. So it's related to a very important crop in our country. It's a really of economic value for us. And it was just shocking to understand like how much traveling is around bananas and plantains. You know, in this report that I went and checked it out, they reported that these have to travel 8,800 kilometers during a 14-day journey. And on every day on their journey, there are 30 people per day that process and work directly with making that banana arriving to Iceland. So we traveled from Ecuador all the way down there to Iceland. That's what the project was about. But anyways, I wanted to also, I choose plantains because it has had a lot of relevance during this time in Ecuador and Latin America. It's a report that was recently published in one of the local newspapers, and they were calling it like the star during the pandemic because we have a lot of traditional dishes in Ecuador that because of that, people were not starving, you know, so people have this accessible, it was not expensive, it was local, and it was something that they can reach out pretty easily, and this is how they were feeding their families during this time. So actually having local foods and having something that is widely available in our country and relying on our traditional food, it's something that actually is saving lives in Ecuador and I'm trying to avoid not to go into hunger. So that's one relevant topic that I thought it was worth mentioning today. And now here are like all the different dishes that we cook in Ecuador from plantains. So we have tostones, we have empanadas. This is like something that you can fill with meat or cheese or whatever you want. Then we have tigrillo. This is what I tried to make it today. So this one right there. Don't compare, please. And then this one is corviche. This has a little bit of peanut butter in there. And this is kind of like a sauce that you can put some meat, fish, really good. My favorite one is bolón de verde, which is 10 plantains, and you can have some bacon or cheese, things like that. And these are just other different dishes that you can see there is a wide variety of things that have done that you can prepare from this really basic dish. It's widely available in all of our countries, so be very relevant to our culture. So now after COVID-19, people are already thinking, you know, usually people that were agriculture and the working agriculture farmers, they went to the cities and tried to find jobs in the cities. But now, since the pandemic, they are already thinking they have to go back, because after the pandemic, there won't be enough jobs in the cities, and they only can rely on these local foods to exchange food with other regions in the country to make some money and have some income. And they are already going back to the farms and you know, working on the plantains and growing them so they can exchange with other goods in other regions. So that's the story behind our dish. And of course, the best complement would say, like, the best match for this, this is a little bit of coffee, black coffee. And I choose one coffee that is from Guatemala.
Oh, wait a second. We cannot hear you again.
Oh, you cannot
now it's better. So what is it? Maybe you stop sharing your screen so we can see it better, because now it's just a tiny little square on the screen. Yeah.
There you go. So then the perfect, what we say, like, you have to have something together with this dish. So coffee is the perfect match for this. And I decided to go with this coffee that it was a gift from one of my friends from Guatemala. And why did I choose? I have several different other coffees. And Osler here is also, he has a little farm in Nicaragua and he produces coffee. He usually brings some, but today we are run out of that. But this coffee that I chose, they say in the back, it was a gift from my friend from Guatemala. And they say for every pound of coffee that you buy, you can supplement iron for 74 kids in Guatemala, or pay 1 day of education. Or also you can support 20 days of vegetable productions through the garden farms that they have in Nicaragua, some different programs. So that's the reason why we are drinking this coffee today, to go really, that's gone really well with my tigrillo. And also, I have something that I made from scratch, which is a little bread, which is the recipe from my friend Raisa that she sent to me like weeks ago. And I bought everything, but I never finally did it. So I thought this was the perfect time to share and avoid things that I bought going to waste. So this is banana and cherries and some chocolate chips. So perfect to start the day, really powerful. And you know, on a Saturday, that's what you need to get people up at 7:30 in the morning.
Exactly. Thank you. We really appreciate that they woke up so early, and your breakfast looks very delicious. The story behind the coffee is amazing. I saw Anna was asking if you could share your slides maybe later, because the information were also very, very useful. So thank you so much. And then I hope that you will have very tasty, conscious conversations over breakfast now. It was lovely to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are having like the slides that you share, and we're going to talk about some of the water footprints of the different things that are the ingredients for this.
Wait. What is this? What you're showing?
These are like the water footprints of the different ingredients that I use to make the dish. So we are going to learn about that in our discussion, because we just started. They just arrived to my house, and then we will have some of the different parts that you share with us. So we will have some conversation related to that in a bit.
Perfect, Yuli. I will just repeat this quickly because we couldn't hear you well, but I think Yuli had the ingredients and their water footprint on the paper, and that's what they will discuss now, and some of the exercises what we prepared for the participants. So enjoy your time. I did see Marco dialing in, and I see him nowhere again. So I will maybe jump over to Jeff. Exactly. I can see you waving your hand now. Thank you. Thank you, Yuli. Enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, Julia, is the connection a bit better now?
Way better.
I'd love to show you where I am at the moment. So this is a place called the Superfood Garden, okay? So it's actually a restaurant, and they have, are you able to see here?
Oh, yes.
So they grow their own microgreens, okay? And they serve them here and they sell them in kits. So there are grow kits, and right here they have a hydroponic tower garden, or aeroponic in fact. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I thought this would be the perfect place to come because they're a completely sustainable spot and they use all of their own tech. And so here they're using an aeroponic system. This is their own prototype. And so the owner, I was hoping for him to join me for a little bit, but I do have one friend over here who's very interested in sustainability. And
All right. So do you want to introduce your friend to us?
Yeah. So we're just sharing a bite here now. So just a burger using these microgreens. I'll introduce you to my friend Jim right here.
Hi.
Hi Jim, would you like to?
How are you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So what kind of sustainability topics is Jeff feeding you with?
Oh, I think we're eating salmon right now.
Salmon, all right.
I do like the microgreens here. I just came to this place about, I've been in Mallorca now for 7 months, and I came and discovered the Superfood Garden. It's run by a gentleman by the name of Uli. I can't say his German name very well. It's Frau, do you know how to say it? Last name? It's okay. I'm becoming friends with him, okay? I come here every day. I live across the street. But he has these micronutrients that are mini radishes, mini carrots, many things. And he grows them right up here, and I'm amazed at how expensive those things are to actually grow. But he has a good system, and he mixes them and makes the salads out of them. It's delicious. He uses Beyond Meat, which is a vegan thing. His wife has always been a vegetarian. I heard him tell the story. His wife has always been a vegetarian, but he always, like me, tastes vegetarian food and go, yeah, great, tastes terrible, okay? But what he decided during the COVID, he said, you know what? I'm going to try to take and start this restaurant to make the food tasty. So he told his chef, number one, make it tasty, healthy, lovely, etc. So now a lot of people come in here eating the salmon burger, the Ironman burger, the Lucky Punch burger, the salads, and it's all based on healthy, not totally vegan, not totally vegetarian. And I had to turn my life around about a year ago from a heart angiogram that said either you start getting better. I lost 20 kilos, went completely non-meat, vegan, vegetarian, whatever you want to call it. And I've been living a better lifestyle. And my total cholesterol is down to 80. If you just think of that number alone, and I've dropped 20 kilos. And I swim and Pilates and yoga, and what else could I do? That's it.
Yeah, so Jim.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, I'm done. And so yeah, but it's a nice vision here, the microgreen system, and so the owner is providing these for people to take home with them, and then there's actually kits that show you how to grow your own microgreens. So this could be this is nice in moving towards people being self-sustaining in their homes. And so yeah, I thought it was a perfect place. I had a few others who were supposed to join, but unfortunately couldn't make it. So my friend Jim and I are just sharing a burger and just chatting some sustainability stuff. And yeah, so that's about it. So it's a nice spot. The tower garden there is an interesting concept. We suspend roots and it just trickles the correct amount of water, which then even more water circulation than hydroponics directly. And so yeah, that's about it really.
Sorry, thank you. My battery is running low, so I was quickly running to get my cable. It has been a longer session than usual this time. So yeah, did I understand it correctly that this restaurant just opened now after COVID, or you meant they just opened now?
They opened just before COVID, but they were closed. And so I actually did an interview with this fella, Keanu, as well, where he shows me around, and I'm going to share that with you. So he showed me around, showed me the tower garden, explaining what they're doing here. And it's basically kind of like sustainable fast food kind of thing, and they plan to expand a lot. So it's a Superfood Garden. It's a nice one, and as you can see here, it's in an incredible location. Look at this, gorgeous.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's in a
Not
place
bad.
called Andrax in Mallorca. It's a beautiful spot. Yeah. It's gorgeous. So yeah, I'm sorry to be eating salmon. To be honest with you, it was ordered by Jim, and I don't know. I'm actually going to ask Janu, what's the story with the salmon? Where did I get it from? Is that sustainable? I mean, I hope so. The philosophy of these guys is based around sustainability, so I imagine it definitely is. It's definitely sustainably sourced, and they don't have any meat products. And he said that they want to have a system where every single thing on the menu they just grow here, so they don't have any transport, anything. And yeah, the name of the restaurant, it's the Superfood Garden called, and they've
Superfood?
got one Superfood Garden.
Superfood Garden. Okay, and it's in Mallorca.
Yeah.
For the others.
So it's only super greens, or do they have a garden for vegetables also, like regular vegetables?
So they've got all sorts of microgreens. They've got so it's an interesting one, right? So according to Keanu, the owner, so these microgreens apparently they contain as much nutrients as their fully grown counterparts somehow, because they haven't used up all of the energy of the seedling. So that's really interesting, because I thought that could be a game changer with regards to storage of food and everything, if you can have the amount of nutrients condensed into much smaller form. And then again here, so he told me that these cherry tomatoes here, I'm not sure if you can see them properly. He said they grew in 2 weeks from this system. So
how sustainable is it to actually do that economically? On an economical point of view, how is it sustainable? Also for a restaurant to grow their own superfood, yeah.
How sustainable? Well, I mean, I guess it's sustainable in the sense that all of these products that he's growing here and serving here, he would otherwise have delivered, I guess, via a ship or via a truck or something. So then that would, and then so yeah, and you mean this particular mechanism here? How sustainable is this?
No, not specifically, but like how sustainable is it in Mallorca to actually have your own garden as a restaurant?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him about that. But I mean, practices like this are surely a step in the right direction. Just growing and serving your own food in your restaurant, I think it's definitely the right way to go. And yeah, so I don't want to take up any. Go on, sorry.
Do you think that you will have the owner with you soon, and maybe we could have him live answering some of your questions?
Tell you what, yeah. So I can run down and see you there now, and I'll give you a message, Julia.
Okay, let's do that. So I think Greta is already on, so I would then switch to her maybe. And if that could be an option for you, then we jump back with you afterwards.
Perfect.
Great, thank you. So Greta, are you there?
I am. Hello, everyone.
Ciao. How are you?
All good. It's a bit of an odd time to have lunch in Italy, but it's okay. We actually finished half an hour ago, and now we have a bit of a snack planned out for the next hour or so.
All right. So what's the snack?
Exactly. Let me take you to the table. I was also plugged in because my phone was dying. So we have, let me see if I can switch the camera. Yes, I can. So right here, we decided to go with first the focacciette, which I mentioned today in the chat. These are something that are local to my grandparents' region of Italy, which is Lunigiana. And we decided to couple them with a pepper bell cream, which you see right here, with a bit of ricotta cheese on top. And then we have a first dish, which is again a bit of ricotta cheese, pasta, and arugula, and just fresh tomatoes. And then we wanted to have something which is, oh, by the way, this is the help.
Hi.
He helped me throughout the morning. We wanted to have something that would be a homemade meal on a Sunday, although it's a Saturday. So we wanted to do meatballs, but at the same time we wanted to have a plant-based version. So we went with eggplants, since they are of course seasonal. And so here I'm currently in Naples. I'm visiting my boyfriend's parents. So the whole theme that we decided to go with was seasonal and homegrown, basically, because we are lucky enough to have his father, who pretty much grew everything that you see on the table. So actually for us, the tasty conversation about sustainability started basically on Wednesday when we got here, starting to plan the menu, where we decided to deciding what we wanted to have, what was seasonal, what we had in stock, in a sense, since that you can't really plan out what you will have available. Although let me switch, so otherwise I'll blind you with the light.
Thank you.
So yeah, we had these whole conversations throughout the week on what we could have as options. We wanted to have, of course, something that would remind us of home, and at the same time that we tried to keep it as plant-based as possible. The only thing that we have, which is animal, comes from animal, is ricotta and a bit of yogurt for the sauce, for the meatball sauce. So yeah, that was the whole plan for the week, and we shared already a meal, as I was saying, with his family, and then of course in a while I think they'll join us again to snack together. Although food is definitely not missing in this couple of days. On the contrary,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So tell me, did you manage to have some conversations about the topics what you have learned over the past 3 weeks during lunch?
Yes and no. The topic that definitely came up was meat consumption, and why we should try to cut back on meat. Oops, my phone. Can you see me? Yes.
Yes, now we can. Yeah.
So that was definitely one of the yeah, exactly, Oriane. So that was definitely one of the main topics that we tackled, at least today. And then again, we spent a lot of time just talking about more or less food all year round, although it's not supposed to be the norm. So of course, what we see here when we're here, it's something very different than what we see when we are in Bologna and we have eggplants in January, which is not really the standard, I would say. So that was another big topic that we tackled throughout the week.
Yeah. So thinking about the fact that you are in Napoli right now, I must say one of the biggest shock I had, besides that it's an amazing city and I really enjoyed my time there, but what really shocked me is all the plastic what you see in cafes and restaurants. So even cutleries are pegged, and you get a plastic cup when you order wine in some places.
Yeah.
So that was kind of shocking for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Is that changing slowly but surely in that area?
I think I need to ask for help to answer that question. Do you think it's changing over time? You can answer in Italian, and
maybe thanks to the COVID, there will be some changes, but it's going to be a really slow process.
Yeah, perhaps we will be a bit more conscious, let's say, about how we package foods with the whole COVID thing. But yeah, I have to say it's something that struck me quite a lot. At least when I first came here, and it's something that you also see on the side of the roads. You see a lot of plastic bags that of course either you have in the fields or just piling up. So they tend, of course, to fly off and get scattered. To be honest, I'm not sure why. I mean, it would be interesting to see and to analyze why that is. Because truly, it's not. I'm not even sure there are that many, let's say, firms that are involved in packaging foods. Actually, here there are a lot more fields around here than perhaps in other regions, in other provinces. So I'm not really sure why that is, but it's definitely something that I've seen too. And hopefully it'll change soon. I mean.
Yeah. So Greta, if you could tell me a bit about your experience over the past 3 weeks on the boot camp, how would you describe it?
So if I must pick a word, I would say either inspiring or something that really challenges you to think a bit differently, that at least than what I'm supposed to, what I used to do. So for me, which is something that I've said already when we had the first week assignment on what we learned in the first week, something that changed a lot for me during the very first days was the fact that I'm not really used to thinking of issues and then immediately going to, okay, how do I solve that? Which is instead something that this bootcamp is challenging me to do a lot, both, of course, with the conversations, the master classes, the hosts, but also and especially, I would say, thanks to my classmates that are taking the same journey as I am. So that was definitely struck me a lot in terms of the whole experience and making the journey worthwhile, which is why I'm also very, very excited about the hackathon next week, where I'm hoping that we will get to apply a lot of the tools and just this new mindset that I think I am coming out of this bootcamp, having matured a bit of a more let's do it approach rather than just let's think about it, which is a bit of my tendency.
Thank you. I'm very happy to hear that it has been a positive influence so far. And yes, I am very excited about those hackathon ideas shaping over the next week. In the meanwhile, I am so sad because Marco has some issues with connecting, but I will do a trick because he actually posted his dish in chat. So I will just share the screen with you quickly. So at least we can show what he has been preparing. Let me just find the right tab, because obviously working on 100 different devices in the same time right now.
I know the struggle.
Yes, so let me, yes. Sorry about this. I am just trying to share this screen now. Can you see?
Yep.
So look at this. This is the dish what Marco is preparing in Cape Town, South Africa. I wish he could be here to tell you exactly what it is. And I think there is another other picture as well. Look at this. Oh, it looks delicious. But again, and it's a spicy quinoa, butternut, and kale burger patty. So that kind of aligns with the plant-forward conversation what Greta also was sharing with us. And yeah, so at least we could share the meal from Marco for now. And I am checking Jeff. How is it going with you? Did you manage to connect with the owner? Do you think we could talk to him?
It's possible, but I went down and he was actually incredibly busy. Just like
Of course.
Don't wanna. He was nice enough to give me the roof here for it. So, but I will try. I have an interview with him anyway. But just the main elements I took from it were just that. Can you guys shed some light on this actually? The microgreens, do they have as much nutrients as like a fully developed vegetable? Does anybody
I think
know
some
this?
of them even have more, but I am not an expert in this. Anna, do you have maybe any insights on that? Or anyone else on the call?
Yeah, I don't know the scientific, I don't know the details about it, but I know 2 startups here in Brussels who are doing microgreens, but indoor farming. And they always tell me about this amazing, a lot about the micronutrients. So it's something that we most of the time forget. We talk about nutrition, but it's this micronutrition that most of the time we forget. So that's how they promote their microgreens with the micronutrition. But the problem in always like that with nutrition, we don't have proper scientific studies to prove that it's also digestible by your body. That's the only thing I don't know. It's rich, but can your body actually absorb so much? That's the only thing I don't know actually.
That's interesting point. Yeah, because I heard that and I didn't actually know that they contained as much.
It's like saying quinoa is superfood. Yeah, like rice and like pasta and flour and each ingredient is superfood somehow, right? So I never really understood this branding around quinoa, but kale was actually it's very funny. The burger looks like the superfood burger. You just missed this.
Well, at least Marco didn't call it a superfood burger.
No, hopefully.
But Anna, do you remember the farm, the terrace farm we visited, even Julia in Mumbai, and they were growing microgreens specifically to extract nutrients from them, and the microgreen will be the food product will be as rich in nutrients as the substrate or the liquid in which you grow it, right? So as much as you can put more nutrients in the material you're using to grow for it to be absorbed into the plant. So that was their work around it. How can you give one plant maximum amount of nutrition when people consume it? In fact, even more than regular, like the plants of the same kind growing in soil.
Not in the soil, right? It was a vertical farm, right?
No, they weren't growing it in the soil, but they were comparing it. So the greens they were growing in their particular medium versus growing in the soil, and as much as nutrients they could pump into that medium in which they grew, that would have even more nutrition than compared to stuff growing in soil.
It's super interesting, the future of this agriculture. Like what's happening now? We're going to produce food out of the soil and then to have the maximum nutritional food. But at the same time, we have to protect and then renew our soil. So are we going? What's the future of this agriculture? Is getting insane.
Yeah, I think the hydroponics here are very impressive. So all of these microgreens that you saw there, they're just grown with water. So they're on a cellulose tray, and the roots are coming through, and there's just water there. And then the hydroponic tower garden then uses even less water because it feeds only the exact amount that each plant needs to spend it in the air. So from from a water conservation standpoint, that's a very effective way of growing. And you know, if as they're supplying here, they don't have any food being delivered here, except for example maybe the salmon and stuff, which I'm going to ask them about to figure out, you know, where does that come from, what's the story with the supply chain behind that. But the microgreens, if it is that they have all of these same nutrients, then logistically and, you know, transportation wise and everything, if you have got a truck full of microgreens, it could be stretched further, I guess, than a truck full of, you know, regular sized veg.
So if that's true, I think a microgreen would be really superfood for developing countries where they have no access to nutrition.
That was my thought as well. Yeah, it could be very.
So I think that you are touching a very interesting point here. We have a lot of solutions for growing food. However, not everything is suitable for a certain environment, but there are places where you don't have fertile land to grow food. Then why not use any of the solutions like hydroponics or vertical farming or microgreens? And I remember when we were in Mumbai, also there was another company who gave us those little kits, and they were working with hotels and individuals. And I remember we could regrow, you could like grow this amount of microgreen twice. And it's like an additional thing for your meal. You won't have a full meal out of that, right? But it can add some value to the other ingredients what you have available. So I think these are solutions, but you just need to see where you apply them, because at some places in food deserts, it might be a solution to bring nutrition to the people.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Jeff, because we are still waiting for some others to join, I would like to connect back to the topic what you brought up on one of the classes today and ask Anna and Elizabeth about their opinion. Could you please tell a bit about your rotisserie chicken guy? Because I cannot stop thinking about him.
Yeah, my old friend, the rotisserie chicken guy. So what I've been doing here when I go to my local markets, I'm just chatting with all of the little shop owners, asking them where they get their products, how sustainable are their practices, and everything else. So I spoke to one fellow who had chickens, rotisserie chickens. They look beautiful, and he's a Frenchman living here in Mallorca for the last like 10 years, I think. And he said that, so I asked him, is the chicken from Mallorca? And he said, no, because there's not enough, there's basically too much demand. So all the restaurants, all the markets here, they all want to have ecological chicken from Mallorca. But the actual amount of chickens isn't enough to satisfy the demand. So this creates an inconsistency for him. Because if he wants to deliver X amount of chickens of a certain week, he needs to be sure that he has them for the sake of his business. So he says that it's too unreliable to buy them locally, so he just gets them delivered. So he drives down to the port every 2 days and gets chickens delivered from inland Spain. So I was thinking, you know, like, how could we go about that? So, I mean, one thing would be to not buy from him and to buy only from the places that have the local chickens. But then you could be displacing this fella from a job. So, you know, you need to fill that void for sure. So then I was thinking, well, perhaps the solution would be to just have more chickens in Mallorca, more ecological chickens to satisfy the demand. So I've made contact with this group here. They're the Balearic Islands Ecological Agriculture Council, and I'm going to get in there next week now and try and have a chat with them about this and about other elements of just people like that, providing a solution to him so that he doesn't have to have his stuff delivered. So just to, you know, try and cut out the middleman on the supply chain. And yeah, so that was the story behind that.
Thank you for sharing. So, Anna Elizabeth, that's my question, because we never really touched this point. What do you do when you actually don't have enough? So you have to import from somewhere else, or is there a way how this restaurant owner or food business owner could actually, with his demand, create more supply? So do you have maybe any examples what you heard of which could be solutions for such situations? No. Either you are frozen or no one has any idea what to answer.
Ida, you want to go?
Sorry, it was breaking up for a terrible net connection. But no, I think this is a very interesting case because and we spoke about this a lot, like when we were doing our circular economy research on communities of scale, community economies of scale versus communities of scope, and how in a lot of places we kind of saw the opposite, where something was sustainable until it kind of scaled up and then it lost its purpose, its purpose. I think what's interesting for me, I don't know if this directly relates or helps, is what we are seeing here is appreciation of product to get kind of supply. So for example, here, so I live in Bangalore, and just in the state where I am in, it's known for its coffee plantations, and we produce really a lot of coffee, but we've never ever valued our coffee, right? So we've always, like, up until recently, a lot of coffee that you got in cafes that were considered good was always from South America, and so only now, where like coffee growers have been scientifically analyzing their beans, getting people locally. There are many third wave coffee shops opening up that have been using local coffee, roasting it in a very scientific way to extract the best flavors. All of this, that we've started domestically to have an appreciation for product. And I think, at least, and I mean, we have scale, right? Our country is huge and we have huge consumption, but it was never looked at in a quality perspective, only in a quantity perspective. And yeah, I think this reversal of just perception of product and appreciation of quality can itself generate a lot of supply, if that is the problem. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you. Anna, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I didn't hear probably Jeff, but then to answer your question, Julia, I also believe that that's the beauty of food. We have to appreciate what's there somehow. It's I think we're used to have it always, or tomato all the time. We're used to have our apples. I mean, for example, here in Belgium, it's an apple producer, for example. But during 3 months of the year, probably, we don't have apples, the local ones. 3 months, it's fine. But during these 3 months, we still import apples from Italy because people want apples during that 3 months.
Yeah.
So I think it's also education. Like, you should know that you don't have these vegetables. You have these vegetables as much as we can, because we are a small country in Belgium. We're very open-minded in Belgium because we are such a small country. We understand that we don't have a lot of land to produce everything for the population. So we accept that it's coming from France or Holland, from our neighbors. And even if you take a perspective of US, when you say locals, it's quite easy. But when it comes to Belgium, local is not even a state of US. No, so I know that through cooperatives, we are trying to educate consumer to let them know that no, spinach is not always available. No, sorry, this year We had a terrible year for all carrots, and so we don't have much carrots this year. And that's part of the education of nature. Nature is not always there when we want it to be. No, it's a really
more. With the supermarket cooperative, we are trying to working towards opening here in Berlin. We also had this question. So in Brandenburg, obviously, the season of growing tomatoes is very short. Definitely not as long as in Italy or countries in the Mediterranean. So are we for the fact that we will not sell tomatoes when it's outside of season and we cannot source it locally, or we will have other preserved versions of them, like dry tomato or canned tomato, or educate people on this way? However, there is also somewhere surplus, especially in Italy. They have so much tomato, but they would not necessarily consume themselves. So some of the Italian farmers work with cooperatives in Germany to get their produce over here. So it's like such a complex system, I think, to think about. And we had an amazing local discovery yesterday with Nikhil, actually. So for all the participants, I encourage you to watch the recording. I think it will be also very good for the hackathon preparation. And this being said, I will tell him, let him to explain what it was about, because finally he's also online. Hi, Nikhil.
Hi, Julia. How's it going?
Very good, very good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I was just shopping a little bit, so I got a little delayed.
Yes. That's okay. I'm happy you are here now. So do you want to tell us, first of all, what I just mentioned, the conversation we had yesterday, and then afterwards, what did you shop, what will you cook, what will be the dinner conversations?
Awesome. So yesterday's conversation, I invited a friend of mine. She runs an organization called Alap. She's a wonderful environmentalist. She got into the field by accident because she was living in Uttarakhand, which is in the mountains in India. And she just found her passion for it. And she's taken on the job of becoming, of trying to reforest a lot of the deforested areas in India. And India, as you know, has very high rates of deforestation. I think I just remember like a decade-old number where India had around only 20 to 21% of its land under forest. And it should, for any country, the standard is supposed to be at least 32 to 33%. So we have a long way to go. There have been some strong efforts in that space. So she was leading one of them. And the way she was leading them was she understood that just saying that we have to grow forests wasn't enough. We had to make those forests and those areas profitable for the people whose areas that forests would be infringing on. And many of them were farm folk. So she did multitude to, I won't give away everything, but encourage you to go and watch the video. But to cut the long story short, she went and followed the whole human-centered design process by studying multiple stakeholders, especially the farmers and decision makers, from politicians to NGO owners to the local farming heads. And she got all of them in a room and brainstormed with them in using system design techniques. And she has told me that she's going to share the links for the system designs that they created. She just showed one or two of them yesterday. It was in part of a presentation. I have that presentation, so if anybody's interested, I can share that. And she's given me the thumbs up for it. And finally, what they found was people are struggling on multiple fronts, and it's very hard to manage those fronts. The biggest thing we have to do, though, is find the core of what the central problem that can have a ripple effect on everything that's happening. And what they found was that water availability seems to be that. It decides where their children go to school. It decides what crops they're going to grow. It decides the political tensions, because water is often shared between different states in India. So there were a ton of problems which could be positively solved if just water is solved for. So they started looking at what are the different water sources they can have, and they found that you can't really increase the water as such, but you can increase the way you capture the water that does fall. And they found the ancient world, when I say ancient, I mean till a few hundred years back, across the world, people had figured this out the same way by creating encampment areas, I think. I think I'm using the wrong word here. It's just not coming to me. And basically, these were artificial reservoirs, which basically all the low-lying areas, they would line them up, and water would fill in those spaces, and also it would replenish the groundwater because of that. Now, as their aim was reforestation to ensure that the groundwater that the water remains intact, they needed the soil to be strong. For that, you need a lot of trees to hold the soil together. And they got funding to do a pilot for planting 1 million trees for one encashment area. That's the word, encashment area. And they're trying to do that in the state of Karnataka in India. If they're successful, they want to replicate that as a framework to be used. May not be the same solution for every place. You recognize that every place is slightly different. But what it's doing is, if you have water in an area, and you can grow forests around it, and some parts of those forests can be grown as what are called food forests, then you have a cyclical route where the whole system is feeding into each other. The trees are ensuring that the water remains because it's helping capture the water better. The water is ensuring that the soil remains fertile, and you have and farmers remain near that space. And farmers are incentivized to keep that cycle growing, because after 2 to 3 years, you'll have a lot of food within the food forests, which the farmers can now sell without having to do any agricultural efforts. So many people that we've spoken to during the last few weeks have spoken about why tilling the land is actually a bad thing. So this, I'm not sure if I agree with them because I don't know enough, but this is one way of, solving that problem as well. So it seemed like a very, very interesting whole talk that she had. And she also went through the whole design process. They made mistakes, they learned from them, how they came up with hypotheses and tested. That it was end-to-end a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so I can highly recommend you guys to watch the recording, and I think we also posted the website in the chat. So now, Nikhil, because we have a few other participants lined up, tell me, what is your meal and what will your climate supper look like?
Sure. So basically, I'm still cooking, so meal's not ready yet. But every weekend, me and my flatmates, we do an international Sunday or international weekend where we'll research food from a different part of the world, and using Indian ingredients try to create food from that part. So we have done Peruvian, French, Mexican, Turkish. So it's been quite, and even Kashmiri, which is a very it's in the northern part of India. It's got a very special food style of its own. So we were just experimenting with different foods. Today's food menu is Malaysian, where I'm making 2 types of laksas, which is a Malaysian soup. It's a very popular dish in Malaysia. One's a fish-based laksa, and one is a chicken-based laksa. Obviously, a lot of the ingredients we don't have. For instance, we don't have galangal, which is a traditional ginger in that area. The only exception I'm making is in what I'm putting in, which is non-traditionally Indian, is the Thai red chili, which I was able to find. But everything else is an Indian substitute for what they use in Malaysia. So they have the local Malaysian white fish. I'm using something which we find in India, the local Indian chicken versus the Malaysian style of chicken and pieces of chicken that they get, or even the spices that they're using. I'm making my own laksa paste. I could have bought the laksa paste, but that's expensive. And I thought, let me try it with Indian ingredients and what comes of it. So yeah, I'm making laksa.
Delicious. And tell me, who will be at your table, and what is the conversation you would like to have with them about food sustainability, about the things what you learned over the last 3 weeks, maybe?
Sure. So I'll have my flatmates Vijay and Rhythm for dinner, and I mean at the dinner table. I will not be eating them, but yeah. Today we often talk about sustainability in different fronts. In fact, Rhythm's pet projects are around how she can start composting. It's always harder when you're living in an apartment complex, but she still figured out a way to, let me just show you small things. It's not tricky.
Wait a second. Is that your composting bin?
Composts first, and then we have another larger one that we have just purchased, the big green topped box. And after it sits there for a while, it fills up, then that goes into the big composter, and then we have compost. And Rhythm has a lot of plants. She loves growing plants, and then we have them all over the house. And a lot of that goes into them, and we'll see what we can do with the rest.
Amazing. All right, Nikki, if you don't mind, because we kind of lean into the next 30-minute session, and I already have the other participants lined up. Thank you so much for dialing in. I'm maybe you can send us photos from the soup what you are preparing. I would love to see, now that I cannot taste it, unfortunately. And have a lovely evening. Thank you.
You too.
Bye bye. Arina, are you here with us?
Yes, hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
We
So
are already in the final 30 minutes of the first block. So I have seen a lot of different meals. I luckily got to eat something myself as well.
Yes, I saw your pictures. So yes, I have 3 of my very close friends here, Amisha, Mansi, and Devika. Guys, show yourselves.
Hi.
There's Devika.
I've 1 second. I'm starting the video. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. So 3 of us have actually, we've been talking about these things for a very, very long time. In fact, every time we meet, we're always either talking about food or, fashion. And I would like them to tell you what they do and then how all of it we all feel that the different things that we do tie in together as a community, because even if you look at working towards a particular SDG, right, each of them, it's a web. It's not just a list of SDGs, so it's not a list of tasks that you can tick off individually. It is about a community effort, and until you don't probably achieve one, you can't achieve another, or they all it's a complicated web. It's not just a list or a grid of things. So I'd love them to tell you what they do on what lines and their things. So let's start with Amisha.
Sure. Okay. Hi everyone. So thanks Arina for this. Arina and I always have a talk about how the Sustainable Development Goals are very interconnected and very much relate to each other. So I've been focusing on education for the past 8 years, working in India across all states to introduce the idea of a quality standard for schools. And what's emerged through that is actually that we don't just focus on education as learning in the classroom specifically, but it's also about a child's health, their well-being, their physical and mental well-being as well. So we kind of look at the development of a child more holistically, as opposed to only focusing on learning outcomes. Something that we've found that has worked very well is also bringing the community in together, where we encourage we have the parents, the students, the teachers, the principal, they all actually come to a table essentially and start talking about how are they going to support this one child through these different means. So I'm not entirely focused on food, but it definitely is about how we integrate all of the SDGs together to help the children of India.
Can't hear you, Julia. Your mic is.
Oh.
Oh, now, yeah. Now it's it kind of went blank for a bit.
You cannot lose me and my voice now. Thank you for sharing this. Before we jump on to the next one, I know that you had to do this session digitally, so you are not sipping around one table. Did you share a meal or at least a drink together?
We couldn't at this point. Maybe after this session is done, it's a bit of an odd time, but I do plan to send them a meal for doing this for me sometime in the week. Or we probably try and plan like a picnic in an open space where we can at least just look at each other from far and share food and some drinks. but in the week for sure. But we're all eating something fun in Indian today.
Good, good. All right. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Mansi.
Yeah. Hi. So my name is Nancy, and I'm the owner and founder of the Cheese Collective. So I'm a cheesemaker and a cheesemonger. And the idea was, while I was studying and working in New York, I was exposed to cheese from across the world. And then when I moved back to India, I surprisingly discovered a lot more indigenous Indian cheeses, which was, there are a handful, there aren't that many, but those handful are, so deeply connected to the history of India, and the communities that, the pastoral communities that it's a very integral part of their food system as well. A lot of those cheeses are available in the northern parts where the mountains and the hills are of northern India. And it has been pretty amazing trying to get those cheeses from those communities, trying to preserve. So Arena and I would always also talk about how to preserve, document, and share these cheeses, not just the cheese, but their stories, and sort of give back to the community, as well as try and encourage chefs to use these cheeses and keep a little bit of the history alive. And so I've been working with those indigenous Indian cheeses, trying to write about them, and even do a lot of workshops. And I also work with cheese that is made in India, that may be made in European style of cheese making. But it's really interesting because at the end of the day, the milk is the soil, everything is so connected. Cheese is so connected to the earth and the animal. So the environment, the cultures in the environment, the soil, what's growing, what the cattle are eating, the breed of the cattle, everything is so different that even though it's made in the European style, at the end of the day, it's a very Indian cheese because the milk is so different. And it's been very interesting to see the Indian cheese scene growing and changing at a really nice speed. So yeah, I make, I eat, I sell. It's all about the cheese and everything that's surrounding it. And today, Arena said, make something Indian. So I'm from Bombay, so I made a very typical Bombay street food called Sev. And let me show you. We're meant
What
to
was
have
the name again? Sorry, you just got cut a bit. What is the name?
Sorry, Sev Puri. I'll write it down in the chat as well, and a little bit of a description. But this is how it's served on a paper plate on the street, and you're supposed to have it with your hand, that way. So this is what it looks like. It's got a gram flour puri, which is like a cracker base, with raw mango and coriander, and two types of chutneys. One is a coriander and mint chutney, and the other one's a tamarind chutney. Oh, and the third one is a garlic chutney. So yeah, it's a lot going on. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, and thanks for having me here, Rina, and all of yours.
Thank you. I am a big fan of puri.
Julia, Elizabeth mentioned that you've eaten it before. And now we go on to Devika. She's doing something that's very different from what all of us are learning, but I think it still ties into the whole community side of it, and also, somewhere working towards a couple of the SDGs as well. So I'll let her tell you about the kind of work that she does, which is amazing.
Hi everyone, and thanks Arina for having me on this. It's really exciting to hear so many different viewpoints on food and sustainability. So basically, I work in the field of fashion and textile. I'm a fashion and textile designer. And my journey started like I'm not a trained designer. I got into it accidentally because my mom used to run a home-based business, and I kind of took it over. And after I got involved in it, I realized there's so much, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much to see, because in India there's such a huge variety of textiles that's produced, and unfortunately we don't really preserve it well enough. And because now everything is mechanized and everyone's looking for a cheaper alternative, the original way of producing cotton, silk, and the other yarns like wool, they're all getting lost. So I, in my own way, try to promote sustainability by one is like, of course, like sustainable fashion, that is like wearing all things that are locally made, but in a contemporary way. So of course that should appeal to all of us. And the other thing that I believe is what sustainability means is that you have to provide a livelihood. You have to provide a livelihood for the people making this, the garments or the fabric, because if you take that away from them, they're going to become construction laborers, or they're going to become so they're just going to become construction. Yeah, sorry, got interrupted. They're going to become construction laborers, or they're going to not like preserve. There's going to be no way of preserving this craft. So I, in my own way, try to work with indigenous people who are making fabric and then make garments out of it. And like I said, I try to contemporize it. So that's what I'm doing. And I also want to add, like, I just feel like sustainability, once you get into it, it's a whole lifestyle change. So whether it's your food that you eat,
Sorry. Excuse me, there was a bit of a background noise. I just quickly muted Amanda. 2 minutes, Amanda. Sorry about this. Sorry.
So it's not just sustainability is not just like if I'm working in textile and fashion, or Arina's working in the in the area of food. It's not just restricted to one place. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. So like we've switched to using menstrual cups as much as possible. We are trying to compost our waste. We're trying to make bioenzyme cleaners. We're trying to do it in a whole, like, it starts with you. So I'm trying to do it in my small way, and then I'm going to try and like inform my friends about it, and hopefully they do something about it. So yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing this with us as well. Can you tell us what kind of food did just get delivered next to you before we hand over to Amanda?
That was a bit of a, so I'm going to have my dinner actually right now. So my dinner is just like plain like rice, which has been, there's some tomato garnish and some dill leaves on it. Okay. And some turmeric. So that's why it's yellow. And I'm going to eat it with chickpea, chana.
Can you hold it a bit?
You can't see it. You'll have to hold it higher. Yep.
Okay.
I actually made us two rescuing veggies from the fridge and from the veggie guy, but it's too messy to eat at the desk right now. I will post a picture of it.
Thank you.
It's made like this traditional Kerala stew, which is made in the south of India. So I'm excited to eat. But yes, thank you so much for having me and my friends over.
Thank you.
And I've been really loving the sessions happening all evening. My YouTube live feed has been on pretty much the whole time. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, I wish I was a part of it, especially.
Wait, I think somebody else's mic is coming on.
Sorry.
What were you saying?
Yeah.
Didn't you had a cheese session day before, I believe.
Helen, I was telling her about Helen with the cheese making and stuff in Switzerland when we were having the global discovery. I was telling her about that. So she's really excited. I'm gonna
share the video. Finally,
yeah,
it's
I told her.
Sorry,
you just uploaded it.
But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
guys.
joining us. Thank you. Bye bye. Amanda, now it's your turn. But would you mind?
Halo teman-teman, ini kebetulan ada yang dari Itali gabung. Dari where are you, Julia? Not Italy, you're in Germany, right?
I am in Berlin, exactly.
Bisa kedengeran nggak? Can you explain what the Future Food Institute is?
Of course. Would you mind putting the camera a bit down so we can see your guests on the screen? Because right now I only see the curtain.
Here, there it is. Can you see them?
Oh my God,
We put
this is
it in,
like a super setup. You even have a projector.
Yeah, we
to
put
see your
it.
guests. Amazing.
We put a projector so you can see. Teman-teman, makanannya bisa tolong dikasih lihat nggak di layar, di kamera? So they're going to show you all the food.
Yes, please. Okay, so then, Amanda, maybe it's not me who should talk now, but rather your guests. I would love to hear what they are cooking and doing.
Just a minute. Let them show you all the food that they are preparing.
Okay, great. And what are you preparing in the meanwhile?
We are cooking the same food, the same meal. It's traditional corn soup, and they're all cooking the same corn with grated coconut. And if it's vegetarian, you can use tofu, but also you can use shrimp, little shrimp, or tuna. Let me ask them to explain what they cook.
Okay,
Feby, bisa cerita nggak, Feb, masaknya apa? Let's see what Feby prepared.
Vegetarian soup. Yeah, we put tofu and mushroom. We don't use any shrimp. Moringa from our garden. Local basil for our garden. And carrot.
Wow, what is that?
Organ. That's a carrot. Moringa and mushroom.
Moringa and mushroom.
Amanda, if you keep it on the computer, it's actually a better picture.
Okay.
It's clearer if you keep it
All
there.
right.
Thank you. And if you can get your guests to make photos of their dishes, I would love to see them afterwards.
Okay. Nanti tolong difoto ya gambar-gambarnya. Zahra is from Gorontalo. Zahra, tong dong
Is
Zahra.
that Feby? Amanda.
That's Feby. Feby is our local discovery.
Exactly. Hi, Feby.
Hello.
Just a minute. Okay, Zahra. Zahra, makanannya dikasih lihat dong. Zahra bicara ya biar kelihatan layarnya. Is Zahra there? Kalau Oh, okay. Dindin, why don't you show yours?
Okay.
You have to speak so that you are big on the camera. Wow, what is that?
Amanda, a bit more to the right.
This is the first time for me to cook Gorontalo side, so didn't expect that the taste turned out to be very good. So instead of shrimp, I'm using the oyster.
What did you use?
Mushroom. Yeah, instead of shrimp, I'm using a mushroom. So it's actually 100% vegetarian food.
Nice.
Can you hear?
Enggak ini dari sini ke sini.
Halo, Ibu.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I didn't expect that the taste turns out to be very good. So this is the first time for me to cook a Gorontalo dish. So instead of a shrimp, I'm using a mushroom because the texture is similar with the chicken. So that's all.
Din Din owns a restaurant, Julia. She owns a restaurant.
Super nice. Where is the restaurant? In Jakarta?
No, in Semarang. Actually, I'm partnering with Javara, and then we set up a new restaurant in Semarang called Javara Culture Semarang. So in Semarang, in Javara, we are only using a local product, and then no preservative, and then all organic.
Amazing.
Thank you for
Vita,
sharing your meal.
Yeah, Vita, can you show us yours? Oh, this is Zahra. She cooked how many? Berapa macam, Zahra? How many dishes did you cook?
Wow.
12 dishes. Can you believe it, Julia?
No, I cannot. But the picture shows me all those different plates, and they look all beautiful. How long have you been cooking?
Berapa lama masaknya? Masaknya berapa lama, Zahra?
Maybe 3 hours because my mother-in-law and my neighbor help us to cook, so it becomes more easy to cook and fast.
That's good.
Super.
Thank
we
you.
Cook, start from 4 p.m. until 7 already display here and send the picture to Bu Amanda.
Thank you. I will send because Julia wants all pictures, so we'll make pictures of all.
Okay. This is waxy corn. You can find it this easily in Gorontalo. Waxy corn.
So it's white, but delicious.
White color.
So we're all preparing corn soup, but different ingredients.
Very nice. And that also shows the diversity of the kitchen, right? Like you
we
don't
mix this with eggplant. And in Gorontalo, if you eat milo siram or this corn soup, you can eat this too, just like a salad, vegetable, but it's made from jantung pisang.
Amanda, right now
banana blossom. It's banana blossom.
Yeah.
Banana blossom.
And papaya flower and papaya leaf, and mix it with coconut. Then you put garlic and onion and some chili if you want it spicy. And
lemon, lime. And lime.
So Amanda, how many guests do you have?
How many are we? Let's see, 17 and 18, 17.
Wow.
So 17 digital, and they all cook. Vita, can you show us yours? Vita is the initiator of the Indonesia Gastronomy Network. Vita, bicara deh biar kelihatan.
Yes, kedengeran nggak?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
This is my food. Actually,
wait, we cannot see.
Corn soup from Gorontalo. So, but I'm still using prawn because I still love it. But I also have the plant-based food. This is jackfruit rendang. So I cook this for probably about 2 hours. Yes, this one.
Wow.
You cannot see the screen. You cannot see the big screen.
It's very far for us to see what is there, but we did get a snippet of the jackfruit dish. Yes, very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
So they're cooking at home. Who else is cooking? Puji, can you show us the sorghum? You know, do you know about sorghum, Julia?
No, I don't. What is it?
Puji.
Yes, Ibu.
Bicara deh biar kelihatan di layar.
Sorghum is cereal from, yes, this is sorghum, do you know?
Deketin.
Okay.
So it's
like the rice, yes.
Uh-huh.
This is
and you prepare it also like rice?
So, sorry?
What was your question, Julia?
If you prepare it on a similar way than other grains.
She's making porridge like the one that Fabi made the other day, but this one she used sorghum, the cereal. It's like cereal, but
cereal, yeah, like grain, yeah.
Like grains, but it grows in dry areas. So it's really a local food.
Oh, nice.
Who else is cooking? Gina, where are you, Gina? Gina is works for Almond Zucchini, a cooking studio, and there she is. So she helped arrange classes for corporate teams doing cooking classes for team building. So she's also cooking the corn soup.
Amazing. Amanda, I have a question for you, or like a request. Yes. Because we are kind of running out of time and Radhika is still online and I want her to also show her table and everything. And I know that you have so many guests. I would love to introduce all of them. Would you do me a favor? Once you have their photos, you could send us their names. So we make sure that we mention them on social media and share their photos.
Let me introduce you to Reza first. He is from FAO. He's from FAO Indonesia. Reza, if you're still on, can you show yourself? Because he's, there he is.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for joining.
So what does FAO Indonesia do?
Many things, but we simplified into, currently we work for fisheries, forestry, and also agriculture for sure. And we have a mandate globally, but also locally to end the hunger. In Indonesia, we are really focusing on promoting our alternative food that we have in Indonesia. Like yesterday, I was work overtime because here in Indonesia, FAO and also Ministry of Agriculture and Paris of universities, we are currently working for a grand design of sagu in Indonesia.
Sagu, yeah.
Sagu, yes. So we are working to develop an action plan to promote sagu to be utilized widely in Indonesia. Although FAO Indonesia and FAO Indonesia is already working for sagu since 2015, and I'm one of the staff who focusing on that commodity. And then basically we are really keen to work with everyone in FAO Indonesia.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'll let you go, Julia, but you have to see my food first.
Yes. Amanda, thank you so much. Thank you for your guests as well. Please ask everyone to forgive us because we didn't have the chance to see all of their dishes. Your setup is stunning. Amanda,
Amanda, you are my hero. Your setup is simply amazing.
Thank you. But we are still going on with our group. You can go to other countries.
Yes, yes.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, of
Enjoy.
course.
Ciao.
Yeah. Ciao, ciao, Amanda.
And now it's time for Radhika. Hi.
Hi, Julia.
How are you? Did you have a busy service today?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But I managed to cook everything yesterday and have my prep ready, so I'm good.
Good, good. So tell us, who are your guests? What will you eat?
I can show you actually. And you can actually have a word with all of them as well. So.
Okay. Now I get it. You are online with two cameras. I was like, why are you showing me your phone? But now I can see everything.
Okay, so
that's
let's
beautiful. Okay, we need some introduction. You have to tell us what do we see.
I thought I'll introduce the food first, and then I'll actually tell you what it is. So
yes, please.
So first is a salad. It's just a palate cleanser. I got the greens from my farmer, Ajintia, Fishy Cress. I think a lot of people know him online anyway. Here are the crackers I was making yesterday. You already know this. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, what was the question?
I said that you already know about this because I told you about it yesterday.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then here is a chutney made with bimli. It's something. It's a fruit which I picked up in Goa when I was there last. I think that was in Feb, and I preserved it and made a chutney out of it for today. Here is just some rice which we cooked with all sorts of farm produce which my farmer sent this morning. Here is a jackfruit and lentil sort of dip which we are going to eat with the crackers.
Wow.
A wholesome bowl, so it's coconut and it's coconut and fish sauce. A pork curry and some chicken, and we have some eggplant moju, which is from our kitchen garden at the restaurant.
Wow. That's a very colorful table with all those local ingredients. I am very impressed. So now tell me, who is at your table?
So I think I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Okay.
We are going to start with my friend Rohan. They're all really nervous, so.
That's okay.
Because this is the first time we are literally speaking for food, right? Otherwise, she's not going to let us eat. My name is Rohan. I have known Radhika and Manish for a couple of years. I work in the beverage space, but I also come from a family that's that typically discusses lunch over breakfast and dinner over lunch and Christmas dinner plans over all other meals during the day. And
Uh-oh. Is that only me?
No, there is no sound. We don't hear sound anymore. Maybe you are muted.
Oh.
Let's just.
Okay, so the sound comes from the different device, right? Okay, sorry. Can you repeat the last sentence? Excuse us for this.
No problem. So I said I come from the northeastern part of India, where for us growing up we grew almost practically everything that we eat. Right, my dad used to have a poultry farm. And a big part of the farm was also small and was like vegetable farm. So with the exception of I think garlic, we used to grow everything. So growing up, everything was literally farm to table for me. It was only when I moved out for my studies and work later on that I realized that in cities, you hardly had access to such stuff. And so for me, every time I cook or eat, I try to use a lot of local produce because for me it's a simple.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is a bit of a background noise and we cannot hear what you are saying. And I don't want anyone to just listen to, like, you know, miss all the things that you are sharing. Okay, but now we hear nothing. Francesco, can you maybe help us here a tiny bit?
Yes, we will try to understand why basically. Okay, the other.
Now, I think now they have to unmute the device, but Radhika just, sorry.
Exactly, yeah, because Radhika is connecting from the phone.
Okay, so I unmute that.
Okay.
Okay, but now put the volume up.
There's
Now the other device. Okay, one device need to be used for the microphone and the other device need to be on mute and also without the audio, or we will hear the noise.
So the technique, so how you do this, the one which is now muted and the computer most probably which is next to showing the dishes, there you also have to switch off the sound.
The computer that show the computer that show the dishes, the sound need to be off, and also from the computer need to be like totally without audio. This is what they need to do for the one that show the dishes, and the other one, the camera need to be camera on and microphone on.
What you have in your hand.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
So can you hear us now? Is it better?
Okay.
Now it's perfect.
Yeah,
Amazing.
we can hear you good.
Should I switch off the computer thing? No, I think yeah.
I don't know. I'm all right. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So, like I was saying, growing up, for me, a lot of what we ate, we grew at home, right? It was only when I stepped out to complete my studies in different cities, I realized that most of it came from farms or places that were not even anywhere close to the city. So for me today, if I'm cooking at home for myself, my friends, I think I try to use whatever's local, whatever's easily available, and also in a small way support small farmers around town. Because for me, it's like reconnecting with the way I grew up, right? So, and it's always been home food for me. So I love food that's inconsistent, and when I say inconsistent, I mean that it could be the same dish, but it changes across the year because your ingredients change across the year, right? That reflects the seasons that you're in, and I think that's really the beauty of food for me.
Great. Thank you so much for being here today, and enjoy all that delicious food. So who is next?
All right, I'm going to pass it on to.
Thank you.
I'm going to introduce you to my friend Karina. She is a beverage expert, again from the hospitality industry. So,
hi.
Hi. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
So very excited to be here, obviously, for Radhika's cooking. It's been a while since we've managed a piece like this, but I just, like speaking specifically about sustainability, I come also from a very interesting background. I grew up in the south of India, but my parents are from very different parts of the country. And so our tables have always been a mix of, Goan cuisine, Portuguese cuisine, because my mom has ancestry there, some North Indian as well as South Indian cuisines. And Elizabeth is on the call as well, I hear. For me, honest, like I work largely in the beverage space. Food has always been extremely important. However, I haven't been so involved in the kitchen and cooking myself until very recently. But what is really nice to see in terms of what's happening with food and beverage in India is that
we are starting to recognize more and more our regional cuisines and distinguish those regional cuisines in ways that are cool and modern, and it's it's very trendy to be homegrown now. And India has always had that problem. There were in the urban cities, especially, we haven't seen this this pride in being local or eating local, and it's really great to see how that's changing both with our drink and with our food. And of course, with chefs like Radhika and Elizabeth really advocating for the cause, it's I'm sure it's going to get a lot better very quick.
Me too.
So thanks everyone, and all the best for the course.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass the phone on to Ravish, who's my partner, and he looks after the bar at my restaurant.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys? This is Ravish. I handle the bar at Fig and Maple, and keeping obviously in the values of the restaurant and what we believe in, we've tried to create a almost zero waste bar, and to the extent where our waste is measured or it's recycled or reused to make jams and syrups and mixes. So we've headed in that direction. We're planning on educating other people as well to do the same thing. And we've started doing a lot of training in workshops in keeping in mind the amount of waste that's generated out of a bar. So that's the way forward for us. And I think Radhika is doing a fabulous job with the food aspect of the whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know why they think that they have to compliment me when
You didn't tell them?
The food is already laid out. They have nothing to fear. Now I'm gonna give it to my intern. She's a trainee in the culinary world, and she's just trying to learn her ropes around sustainability and finding it all. So this is Supriya.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm Bengali, and eating sustainably is something that comes back from my roots. So everything is consumed root to shoot, and this was an approach that chef was following in her kitchen. So it was just almost natural to join her.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. And
Thank you.
enjoy. Enjoy.
I think she's the one who's the most scared, but I also have my best friend Sarah here, and she really does not want to talk. So
I try to get out of it. Really not successful. Hi, my name is Sarah. I am part of the Korean Cultural Center, and I've known Radhika for, 20 years or so, right? Yeah, so it's an honor to be part of this dinner. The fresher the food, the better.
I literally told her to say this. So Julia, the rest of my guests are not here yet.
That's okay. You already have such a cheerful company, and I just would like to wish you a wonderful dinner and share all the thoughts and your experiences over the past 3 weeks, what you had with us. And tune in, well, it will be in the middle of your night, so maybe don't tune in, but watch tomorrow the other 3 hours what we will have with the other participants. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. So Francesco, I think we can call this as a first block for now. Thank you everyone who joined. I really hope that you enjoyed your meals. And now we will take a little break. I also need to get some water after all the talking. And
You've been amazing, Julia. And all of the participants have been amazing too. So it was an amazing experience, guys. And this is only the first part. The second part will come soon, also today.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, keep sharing your photos on chat. Yeah.
Vivian, that's very important. Please share the photos with Francesco Tita, who I need to hopefully congratulate for his exam, right?
Yeah.
Did everything go well?
Yeah.
Very good.
Very, very good, Julia. Thank you. And we are still live, so yeah, it's also a live celebration.
And it's only 24, guys. Just to let
All
you
right. So we will have a glass for you later during the other session. So we see you guys at 7 p.m. live again.
Thanks, Julia.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys. Bye bye.